This is Admiral Trevelyan, Commander of Terran Forces. To all units, the battle for Earth is over. We can no longer protect our home. Our so-called leaders have capitulated to the Kurgan and a ceasefire has been issued. I intend to save what forces I can and fight on. I will return to claim my birthright. To humanity I say, see to your homes and your families, save yourselves and your loved ones, but look to the skies. We will have vengeance.
I mean, they've both been flashed now, so...
Can I tell my joke now?
Yeah.
Are we all recording, I suppose?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been really struggling to come to terms with the fact that I'm a homosexual dyslexic. I've been in Daniel.
Hey.
Oh.
That doesn't work for you, though, because...
I'll be honest, I thought that was funnier
You'd have to drop
than
the voice
the
down.
reception.
Although hello, this is CeaseAndDiceist. Welcome. We will eventually be playing Farsight, the role-playing game. I'm Martin Hume, I'm the host and games master, and at some point I'll introduce my 5 lovely bitches over here in the corner and we'll introduce everybody, so it's fine. But I was going to say before we start, there's a lovely one on Facebook today on Dungeons and Dads, which is basically...
That's not what it's called, Martin.
Yeah. Whatever. But it basically, if I ever meet a vampire and it's asleep, I'm not going to stake it through the heart. I'm just going to get a permanent marker and draw a big willy on its head because it'll never know that it's there because it can't see its own reflection, which I think is brilliant. So, I was going with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, hello everybody and welcome. Please introduce yourselves and the characters that you may or may not at some point be playing, which we will explain in a bit. But Max, do you want to start us off?
Yes, I am Max Spencer.
It's not a register.
Present.
Are we here?
And at some point, I will be playing Dante Butterworth.
That well-known Yorkshire hero of Farsight fame.
That is my character sheet.
Look, he's got a
And my
character.
picture.
It's got a picture.
And that's roughly what I look like.
Wow.
It's a bit more...
Why have you got Tipex under your eye?
That's, I think, meant to be a bit of metal.
Mm.
But it's a bit
Is it
more
tech?
Kenneth Branagh
Is
than
it
it eventually
sci-fi?
will be. It is,
Oh,
it's
okay.
all sci-fi.
Keith Branagh.
Yeah.
That well-known, the brother of the well-known.
Yeah. I don't know what should I tell
No,
you?
that's fine. That's
Yeah.
all right. Just introduce yourself. Ross.
Yeah, I'm Ross, and I'm playing a character called Skull Skybeast, who looks a little bit like this.
There you go.
I think the plan was to actually use the green screen to show it
Oh,
behind
we'll do,
you.
but if
Oh,
we
that's
hold
okay.
it
You can put it
Yeah.
on. It's the same time, man.
Yeah, it was more so you
Behind
guys
me.
could see
Yeah.
yourselves.
Well, yes.
There you go.
We're quite happy to
Gorgeous.
show off the...
Yeah. You've laboured to produce.
And I think the picture tells you the story, really, so there's not much more to say. You'll find him
Nice.
fighting in pits,
See
and
what we did
he's like, yeah. Tough.
My name is Zoe McVeigh, and I'm going to hold my character sheet up because I don't want to be left out. And I'm playing a character called Kiki Nima, which you can tell I've memorised by the fact I'm reading it. I should mention I don't know what I'm doing here, I don't know anything about the game.
Zoe has never played a role-playing game before.
Never.
And so we've made her the star of the show. So you know, as you do. But anyway.
So yeah, sorry Nadal.
Sarah. I'm playing Quint, a Valkyrian.
Sideways.
Yeah.
0G.
Yeah, 0G doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Quint is... Yeah.
We'll get into it.
And I'm Jack. I'm playing James Browning, and this is what my character looks like.
You'll notice he's given himself a bigger picture.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
just zoomed in more whilst fixing it, and
I really like that one. Actually.
It's
It
yeah,
really
yeah,
does.
I
like
went
the
more
style.
stylised for it.
Yeah, it's cool.
That's the thing about having a human character is the computer doesn't have to struggle as much as I must have done like 70 trying to get Sarah's face right.
I think
Thank
you've done a
you.
jolly
I
good job,
appreciate it because the first one did look like he sat on a pin or had a stick up his backside.
I mean, and may
It
have
was lovely
done.
otherwise,
Hey,
but
it
it's
could
like
be somewhere in this game that may happen. Don't give it
Oh.
away.
Also, doesn't help that I had very little guide for as to.
Oh wow, blaming already.
Oh, absolutely.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I will.
Blame
Articulation,
game,
really
yeah,
strong,
wow.
I love it.
PvP, it's
Max
kicking off.
literally told me Kenneth Branagh, so I
Yeah.
had more to work on.
That's
Especially
not-
since he's
yeah, but
also
how
been-
can I tell you? You know how.
Oh, it
Yeah,
is
all
right,
right,
you can.
all right, calm down.
So have you
Yes,
created these?
Yes.
It
computer.
was very
So-
much letter
Yeah.
of the law.
I'm very
and spirit
flattered
of
if this
the
is
law.
what you think of when you think of me.
I had
She's
no
very
guide
well endowed.
on how your character should look, and
Well, I can only assume you based it.
absolutely.
He's done a stunning job.
Yeah, and
It's like looking in a mirror.
absolutely, and yeah, no comment I can say following up on that would be remotely appropriate for someone I know as little as you.
Give it.
Wow, there we go.
Do you want to swap?
Probably best that we don't. Oh, throw me now. No idea. Right, so just to explain, there will be, although they don't exist yet, but before you get here, if you've not watched the introductory videos, there will be a couple of introductory videos, one about Farsight and how Farsight works, how Farsight's supposed to work, and one about the actual universe in which we're going to be playing. So there will be 2 videos out there before this goes live, hopefully, and you can go and watch those, find out what this is all about, so that we don't kind of have to grind away at sort of making a big introduction for you today, so we can get cracking, really. So if we're all ready, I think we'll get on with it, shall we? Kiki,
Yeah.
you are daydreaming. You are back home. You are on your home world. Now, the home world for Navarians, which is the race that you're playing, is a planet which has suffered great ecological disaster at some point in its past. It's incredibly hot, lots of deserts, inhospitable. So there are sort of geodomes all over the place, which are the cities and places where people live. And you are a little girl again, and you're just sort of thinking back to your childhood. You're rather wealthy, as I believe, childhood, and you're playing in the garden back home. And do you have any siblings, brothers and sisters?
Yeah, I feel like I do.
And what do you have, brothers, sisters?
Maybe a sister.
Okay, cool. So you and your sister are just playing around, and she says something a little bit unusual to you as you're playing, and she sort of just looks at you and goes, well, this is exciting. I'm not going to let them, you know. I won't let them do anything. But let's just see what happens, shall we? And you sort of have this reverie in the thing. The reverie is broken by a loud banging. As somebody hits a gavel onto a wooden table, and you just sort of, you're brought back to reality with this sort of, all rise. It's okay, you don't have to all rise. It's a role-playing game.
What's a gavel?
We're not
Is
LARPing.
a gavel a hammer?
Yes, that's right. The little wooden thing. The little wooden thing that we don't use in British courts that loads of TV dramas get
Yeah.
wrong and put in. But
Why
anyway,
not?
Yeah.
No, but we do use them at auctions.
that's right. But
Oh,
this
yeah,
not
do
being
that.
an auction,
Yeah.
that would happen.
Yeah, our judges have to
Yeah.
shout bang, bang, bang.
Yes, that's right. No, they have a court of the clerk that does that for them. No. All rise. The clerk of the court. I'll have to put my glasses on so I can read things. There we go, I've got it here. Admiral presiding, Avia Badashar. And in comes the Navarian Admiral. She's got 2 aides either side of her who come and sit down. They sit to the court. As they sit down, the clerk of the court will tell you to be seated. The Admiral pops on her glasses, sort of looking down at the notes and things, and says, reads out the courtroom number, and then looks over at you. Will the accused please stand and make their way to the box?
Acting.
Please state your name for the record.
Oh, Kiki Nima.
It's Captain Keeping Nemo. isn't it?
Captain Kiki Nima. Yes,
There
Your Highness.
you are here to explain the events of they didn't give a date, which I'm not going to sort of bother anybody with, but it's probably about 3 weeks ago, something like that, when this thing happened.
Precision in court, we love it.
However, before we start, here's the thing I suddenly realised I hadn't done was put us.
The 22nd of Thraz in
Yeah.
the age of
Yeah,
Sun
exactly.
9.
It's about 200 years from now.
The days
Um,
On the date of about 200 years from now.
It's how they keep court records in the future. However, before we start, we have some exceptional circumstances because of the strange nature of the case. We would like to invite the Kurgan delegation to be present. There's a rather a noise, sort of a hum around the courtroom. Nobody sees the Kurgan. The Kurgan are this race that sort of you fought with during the war against the Terrans, but really since they've annexed things like Sol and several other systems, by the way, that don't belong to them, and put it behind this sort of buffer zone, they're a very mysterious race. Nobody knows that much about them. The back doors of the courtroom open, and in stride two huge, frankly, dragons wander in, sort of huge lizard-like muscular creatures, all wearing their pomp and finery. You know, they're sort of gilded all over their scales and things, and they're wearing proper armour and the whole stuff. And they sort of come in. They've got their sort of honour guard with them. They're only carrying ceremonial weapons. There's no firearms allowed in court. However, they probably don't need much more than that. These guys could probably do enough damage with what they're carrying. They come in and they're sort of shown to a separate section of the court where they're allowed to sit. Incredibly unusual to see these people here. The Admiral looks over again and General Thanok Mar and your aide Thanok Becker, thank you for attending this court. I realise these are unusual circumstances and we will attempt to see that justice is done on your behalf. The Kurgan say nothing and sort of stare stoically around the courtroom, daring anybody to sort of raise any objections to their presence. With all that said, Clark, I think we can begin. The next thing to do is to start the psychic fugue. So what will happen, because in Navarre courts, which is where we are, they're actually going to basically cause you to regress, and the court will be able to see the events that happened that have caused this courtroom drama to occur. So in time-honoured fashion, everybody, we will now do the going back in time thing all together. So you ready? 1, 2, 3. We go back 3 weeks and we find ourselves on the deck of your ship, which is called Danson.
Danson. I
Your
know
ship
that.
Danson, the good
We
ship
are
Danson.
very close.
And just to explain,
There it is.
in our universe, Navarrian captains have a very particular relationship with their ships. The ships are highly AI driven. You are effectively mated to your ship, as it were, almost from birth. The ship and you kind of become a unit almost from the day you exist. So it's a very intimate relationship. It knows you as well as any member of your family and things like that. And you're known as a Navarrian co-pilot. It's very much a symbiotic relationship between the two of you. It means that Navarrian ships are incredibly nimble just with the mere thought. As long as the ship's in the right mood, you can get the ship to move and do whatever you need. Your commands are done instantly, as quickly as you can think of it, so the ship can react. So Navarrian ships are well known. It's not a big ship. It's probably something like Class 2, Class 3. It's a light cruiser, probably no more crew than about 20. You have to have a think at some point what the Navarrian ships look like. Are they very mechanical? Navarrians are known for using cybernetics and things like that as well. They have a huge affinity for cybernetic implants and that kind of stuff. But they could be very organic. You know, I don't know. So I've not decided that. I'm going to leave that with you. What the ship might look like. You are standing on the bridge of the ship when Danson informs you, I beg your pardon, I've not actually informed you what you're doing. You're currently patrolling along the edge of the buffer zone, this neutral zone, if you like, between Navarrian space and Kurgan space, to make sure, ostensibly, that nobody crosses the border. However, Danson is equipped with a highly sophisticated snooping apparatus. Basically, you're spying for the Navarrians, you're keeping an eye on what the Kurgan are up to. This is a surveillance ship of the highest order with the latest technology on board. Danson sort of breaks into your reverie as you're looking out across the sort of starscape in front of you and informs you, Captain, I picked up very suddenly a Kurgan ship, only a few thousand kilometres beyond the neutral zone. It's just appeared out of nowhere, most unusual. We can't give you more information at the moment. We'll see what we can find for you. You do have your loyal and trusty crew around you on board the bridge of the ship, and we're about to find out who they may be. So we've got some NPCs for the rest of you to play for now. So you won't actually be playing your actual characters. We're going to be using some non-player characters. You're going to stand in for the crew of the Danson.
And are you going to make us come up with NPC names on the
Nope,
spot?
I have
Okay.
the ship.
Oh,
It's right here.
very
However,
easy game, isn't
what
it?
we haven't decided is how and who you're actually going to be. So I have my trusty top hat.
Yes, random.
Yes.
Top hat man.
And,
The randomizer.
I have. I'm going to pass this around, and you'll find there are some little shirts in here. And what I want you to do is to randomly pick
Red?
a shirt, and then we'll see what colour shirt you get, and that will yes, and you will determine.
Really is a magic top hat.
It's some little shirts. So I want you to pass this along, and what colour shirt you get
Spell that.
determines which character you're going to be. So we'll see where we get to. So Max, if you'd like to start us off, obviously Kiki, you don't. Yes,
I don't pick
yes,
one.
yeah, there's not a load of shits in there. No, that would be a completely different thing. Yeah.
Yeah, you can pick for
So
me.
look, oh yes, so let's do it and not show anybody at the moment. Yes, that's a good
Alright.
idea. I like that, Max. That's good fun. Yeah.
That is
Why
definitely
are
a
they
shirt.
shirts? This
Yeah.
is cool.
Oh, it is
I couldn't tell you what
These were
colour.
made. With everybody's.
It's like a Star Trek shirt thing.
Indeed.
Well,
With everybody's
well,
perennial
well,
favourite,
well,
these were
well,
created
well,
with child labour, so I put my youngest son to work on these for us.
Oh,
So
right,
there
right.
you go. Well, you are the captain, so I
Yeah.
think you know it's only right and
Captain's
proper.
hat.
Yeah.
So Max,
I'm gonna need a
Yes.
what colour shirt did you get?
I've got no clue, Martin. I
Oh,
can
of
show
course,
you.
because you're colourblind.
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant. I've started
show
with the
you.
colourblind player. Go for it. You're blue, Max.
Oh, very
Which
good.
means that you have a choice. Would you like to be the science officer or the medical officer?
Ooh. Let's go science.
Okay, you want to go science, so let me just find the right one. Now, the first name written before the slash is the male version, or the
Okay.
female version is the second one. So there's a female-male version. So you're the science officer. So if you'd like to tell us who you are.
I am. The first one's the male, the second is the female.
Yeah.
I am Lieutenant Baz Yazelda.
Well, there you go. You
Baz.
might want to write that
Baz.
down somewhere, everybody.
Baz. Right,
Ross.
Oh,
Oh, you are first officer.
Hello,
I did wonder
firstly.
that when I saw it. I got excited. Trying not
You
to.
want me to have the top hat back?
Yes, please. Yes.
Right, I'll just drop it on the floor either one. There we go.
Wicked. Right, I'm in.
So what's your...
I am Commander Alishar Yaska. Alishar.
Again, somebody better write these down.
Yaska. Yaska. I like Yaska.
Martin, just a quick one.
Yaska.
In the far future of Farsight, is it Lieutenant or
Baz.
Lieutenant?
Oh, well, we are English, so I think...
Lieutenant.
Well,
lieutenants.
we're English,
Yeah,
but
but I'm
Lieutenant.
it's a space
Lieutenant.
future.
Oh,
Lieutenant.
Yeah.
No, lieutenant. Sorry? Oh, security. Oh, dear me.
It was like
someone
fate.
had to get it. So if you'd like to pass that along, thank you. And Jack, I believe that makes you the medical officer. So there we go. You are, but damn it, Jim.
Yeah.
Danilak or Lizara Raya. Danilak, there you go.
And Jack.
And that makes
Lieutenant
me
then.
Lieutenant Padme Iktomi.
Excellent.
Padme.
Now,
Padme-
security
Padme
officer.
what?
Iktomi.
Bless you.
Yeah, I can borrow a pencil,
Oh no, I
please.
suppose it's an.
It
It's
sounds
an
like a
isn't it?
sort of
Iktomi.
operation, isn't it? I've had a lictomy. It's
Yeah.
like I've had something removed.
Sorry, I don't know why I assumed it was a lowercase L rather than an uppercase I, considering it's at the start of the name.
But Sarah, what was your character called?
Lieutenant Danilak, and it was a pleasure knowing you all.
Danila. Yeah.
Only 3 days to retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Danila.
The wife and kids are just
Yeah.
doing the
just
farewell
waiting
party
for
at
me
home.
to
Yeah, they're all just
come
waiting
back,
for you in
yeah.
that surprise party. when you
Security is
get
always
back.
a tricky one, isn't it?
Jack, who are you?
I'm Lieutenant Padme Iktomi.
There we go.
Fixes people.
Security officer. You're kind of in charge of all the gadgetry to do with the sneakiness and things like that. So you're in charge of countermeasures and snooping and all that kind of thing.
I do hope that was in character. The security officer. Huh? What?
Wow. We've got a really dopey one in charge of all the setup and right. Danson informed you that the ship seems to be out of control. It's in some kind of tumbling motion.
For the captain to decide.
And it's
No.
Aye.
Like the ship that's come up on the sensors, not our ship is.
Yeah.
It's crashing.
the Kurgan ship.
Yeah.
The Kurgan ship
We're all going to die.
is sort of tumbling through space. It appears to be completely uncontrolled.
Appears to be.
Appears to be.
Patterns.
Yeah. Doesn't seem to be any obvious damage, but it's certainly not in control.
Talk to engineering, ask them to analyse the patterns, ask them to do a scan, etc., etc.
Okay. Cool.
Although the captain ought to be doing that because she's in charge.
You know what she
Well, you would report.
just right.
You would basically report what you know to the captain.
Right.
Yeah, it's not for the crew to just fold their arms and go, well, Captain, what now? Just for
Well,
every bit of
actually,
information.
as security officer, it is.
Are we all Navarians?
You are all Navarian.
Oh, right, okay.
You are all Navarian. The sheets are deliberately incredibly sparse.
I see.
Because, I mean, let's be honest, you're not going to live that long. The ship sort of informs you all this general information. As you're on the bridge, you, particularly, Kiki, you get a very strong psionic pulse from this ship. It's a human voice, unusually. It's speaking Terran from a Kurgan ship. And it's a desperate plea of pain, of wanting help, of somebody in terrible, terrible distress. You just get this awful cold feeling washes over you as you stand on the bridge of your own ship, and you look out towards this Kurgan vessel, which obviously you can't see, it's on the sensors, but you know, it's out there. This sort of dreadful feeling of somebody desperately, desperately needing help. I would point out that this thing is on the wrong side for you of the border.
Captain, I suggest we ignore. They are not in regulation territory, and it's probably a big threat.
Then you don't ignore it.
What do you suggest we do, Lieutenant?
Well, open hailing frequency.
Yes, we should open hailing freak. I don't know what that means.
Call them up.
Try to contact
Oh,
it.
we should do
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Get them
Yeah.
on WhatsApp.
Is it up to me what we do?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? Ignore.
Well, ignore is in. We should maybe tell them that they need to retreat back into their own territory, and if they don't do that,
Yeah.
we should engage
Can
our
I-
Yeah,
weapons.
just like
Yes.
shoot
Okay,
at them a
so-
bit.
Can I interject? We don't know a lot about Kurgans.
You-
If we intervene,
You can, Buzz. Yeah. Go for it.
if we intervene, we might be able to take this ship and learn from it.
Right. Yeah. Like that. Like
Yeah,
that.
start war, why don't you? Yeah,
Right.
great.
We don't have to admit that we've taken the ship. We just,
So
put
can
it in
I?
Yeah,
black site
yeah,
somewhere.
'cause-
I'm
and
sure
study
they
the
don't
tech.
have any communications on board
Yeah.
or any way of sending
Yeah,
messages.
Oh, well, if they did, then they wouldn't be hailing us, would they?
It's not sending out any form of distress. In fact, it's not sending out any form of electromagnetic information at all, really.
So how did we get the?
So what does engineering
Danson has
find
a
out
highly
about
sophisticated
the,
Don't
Right.
look at me,
Right.
he's engineering.
He's
So-
engineering,
I'm
you're
the doctor.
medical.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, engineering. What is it really kind of moving erratically, or is there a pattern to how it's moving? What's
There
going
is
on?
no discernible pattern. It is tumbling through space, and you know enough about Kurgan
So
ships
they're not
that
fake
that's
tumbling.
Do we have like
Doesn't
tractor
appear to be.
beams and things like
No.
that? No.
Oh.
yes, I know they're in Farsight. They're not in my game.
Well, it's quite a small ship. We wouldn't be fully kitted out.
So we could blast them out the sky to save them tumbling forever in space, and they may. We could.
To save
I'm
them
not
from
suggesting
their
we do. We need to
pain,
consider the
putting them
options.
out of their misery.
I think
Yeah.
the first thing we would do is try and make contact. Do you
Yes.
think?
Yep.
I think we would
Okay.
send a
Yes,
message along what you said.
Yep.
You know, you're in Navarian space now.
Yep. Get
Tumbling,
out.
Bugger
There.
tumbling away.
Yep.
Please let us know what you're doing.
Would you like me to
Do you
do
need
that
help?
for you in Kurgan, Captain? This is Danson asking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So basically, Danson just says, I've opened all the several million different frequencies of communication. I'm not getting any response on any wave at all.
Right.
How fast are they
Gravel
moving?
it, yeah.
How fast are they moving?
How fast are they moving?
They're sublight,
Okay.
so they are sort of in real space, so they're not in warp or anything
Yeah.
like that, but they're moving at a considerable racket.
Are their engines still powered up?
Doesn't appear so.
So they're just drifting.
They're basically tumbling through space. It doesn't
Okay.
appear to be under control.
If they're
Fancy a trip? What do you reckon?
What, track them, Trace?
Just like over there, and, like
Just go
board
on.
it.
They may cross the border at some point if they're tumbling uncontrollably. Once
Yeah.
they reach
Well,
onto
which
our side,
direction
we'll be
are
able
they,
to-
They already are on our side.
Are
They
they
are
travelling
on
from
our
Kurgan space into our space? They're already in our space.
No, they seem to be just travelling through Kurgan space. They're very close to the border, though. Possibly, Dunstan can do some calculations, but it might take quite a while for them to drift into your space, and you don't know what damage would be done to the ship in the meantime or the people on board it.
Right, I reckon, boss.
Yeah.
Simply send a message back home, tell them it's going on, it's there, and we carry on doing what we're doing.
Yeah, we should report the issue.
Yeah, do we have quantum comms? We can get a real-time response back.
You can
from
absolutely
HQ?
get a real-time response back.
Oh.
Right, well, let's do that, yeah.
Okay, as you go to do that, there is yet another psychic shriek, for want of another word, from
For
the
help,
ship.
right.
This thing definitely wanting help.
Is only boss, is only
Or are we
Kiki
all-
hearing it, or is it
Only
all of
Kiki's
us?
hearing it.
Only Kiki, so I have
It's
no
my
idea.
psionic.
Dunstan isn't registering it either.
Interesting.
So Dunstan hasn't mentioned it at all.
Are you reacting to the shriek? Are we seeing anything that you're
That we've seen
in
before,
pain
surely.
or?
No, I don't think you are at this point.
Okay.
I think I might have a chat with Danson.
Okay, Dunstan sort of, Kiki, you're being not yourself at the moment. You're not being very demonstrative.
Yeah, well,
What's,
surely you're hearing. You're not.
hearing what? I'm not getting anything back from the ship. All I'm sort of getting is the very basic information that I'm doling out. This is a wonderful opportunity. I can't believe you're not seizing it. You might get a promotion out of this.
Look, you're always so career focused.
Oh,
I'm hearing serious distress
all our
signals.
time together.
My psionic ability, I'm picking up distress signals. How come you're not? We
I'm
share.
not psionic, I'm a ship. I use cybernetics and other technical equipment to go with things. You know I've never been able to do that.
Oh.
I've always been rather jealous of your ability. quite
I
frankly.
didn't know that. I thought that we. Sorry, I thought that we.
You have this kind of, whatever the link is between you, it's maybe
It's not
technological in some sense.
Okay, right. Well, given that Danson not being able to hear it and I can isn't quite the plot twist I thought it was. I think I agree with your earlier judgment. I think we should go nearer and take a look. Possibly board it. What? First officer
Yes.
Yaska. What?
Mm-hmm.
You, by the way, always refer to, and you're the only person who does, you get to call the skipper.
Oh, it's good. Let's go back.
Gotta seize the opportunity.
What? What do you think strategically we could be gained by boarding this ship?
Well, if we board the ship, then I think we've already covered that there could be some technological gains from our perspective. Of course, it does come with a risk, given it's tumbling fairly manically at the moment.
But can I just
So
confirm, it's currently
risk.
still in Kurgan space. So if
So we'd have to cross the border.
we would be crossing the border, which would be an aggression. And as a security officer, I have to put my foot down here and say, no fucking way, boss.
Wow, it's a very relaxed hierarchical structure on the
Can we
Navarian ship.
calculate where it's likely to cross the border and sit in wait and try and set up some sort of...
Probably cross the border in about 2 weeks' time.
2 weeks.
2
Yes.
weeks, right.
But we
right.
could
Huge
also,
distances.
given the way it's tumbling, if the artificial gravity is in any way acting up, we could say that we're giving Navaritarian aid, since humanitarian absolutely wouldn't make sense, and trying to rescue their people.
Yeah.
If the top brass give you the green light to go over the border for it, fine, I'll go along with that. But until then,
We've not
How
had
do
any
those boots
distress
taste?
signals either. So it would be unsanctioned, I think.
Is that
Yeah, I think that's right, Baz. You're right. Without any actual distress signals, it would be unsanctioned. So
Well-
we should seek approval.
All right, listen, I'm a captain here. Yuzolda.
I'll get the salves ready for that burn.
What can we do to stop it tumbling when we get there? Like, what options have we got? Can we control it in any way? Get it under
We
control?
could, in theory, use some means of kinetic impact.
Well, I shoot it.
Shoot it.
In
yeah,
such a way
nudge
Stop
it,
it
nudge
spinning.
it over.
nudge it
Danson,
against
if you get to
the
this
way
point,
it's
he can
going.
quite easily match the tumbling effect of the ship.
Danson,
You
Oh,
can
okay,
just match
so we
them.
can just
You're in space. It
negate
really doesn't matter.
Okay. Right, so it's not too much of an advanced manoeuvre. Okay, so we could just match it then.
How does that help us if we want to board it?
Well, because you would be
Yeah,
relatively
you're
still to one
relatively
another, so you
together.
could dock.
But actually, ideally, we'd stop them tumbling, right?
Yeah,
But we're going for docking over prevention.
Well,
There's
we can
nothing
dock,
from
we might
outside
be
the
able
ship.
to-
You don't have tractor beam
Yeah.
technology. You would have to get in there and do something to their engines, most
Yeah.
likely.
I'm pressing a lot of buttons, and mainly
Well,
it's
busy.
to record
idea.
exactly what's going
Yeah.
on, so I can cover my own arse later.
Jesus Christ,
So-
you bootlicking little
Cynical and jaded, I
Question
decided.
for our science officer, actually,
Yes.
and for Danson, actually. Is our ship, is Danson capable of overriding an airship's controls, or if we get near enough, can we do some physical connection? What options do we have?
That would definitely be
unknown,
an act of
number
war.
I've never interacted with a Kurgan ship before.
Danson can't.
So it's possible, but
I would
it's
imagine so. I
unlikely,
can't imagine
but-
that I've anything superior to me. Well, it's
we could give it a go.
Danson, isn't it?
We could give it a go. I mean, that's.
I think we
Is
should.
high risk
Danson
move,
voiced by Ted
perhaps, yeah.
Danson, just to check?
Is it?
This has gone. So is
Oh,
there anything on the
the red record light's still on there.
Oh.
Okay, the battery might have died or something, but as long as
Sorry, I lost my train there.
Ted Danson.
Is
says
Ted
that
Danson
you probably
voicing
could.
Danson in this? Just
I
so
hope
I know
so.
for my
I
mind.
really hope so, yeah.
We got him.
I'll have
Nice.
to work on a Ted Danson voice now.
Yeah, he'll use AI to
Yeah, we
to
will.
rip it off.
It's not Ted Danson. Everybody keeps saying it.
It's the only Danson I know.
Well, now you
Who's
know
Ted
another one.
Danson?
Yeah.
From Cheers,
Oh,
he's
yeah,
the
yeah,
bar owner
big
in
kind of
Cheers.
hair and stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a child
Just
singer
a big
called
head.
man singer
got-
with no
That's got a
name
very
or
tall
something?
There's a
head.
band
Wasn't
called
Saving
Hanson.
Private Ryan,
Oh,
along
that's
with many,
what
many
I'm
other
thinking
things.
of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Danson.
Ah,
Who is he in Private Ryan?
I have no idea.
He's one of the lieutenants when they go and the wall falls down. He's the one that machine guns all the Germans.
I never knew that.
Yes, it's Ted Danson with a wig on. But anyway,
Well, he always wears a wig.
he always
he's
wears a
bald.
wig.
So, as a captain, I would be asking Danson, what do you think we should do? What in terms of normal protocol? Do we?
In normal protocol, Captain, when have you ever been worried about normal protocol? But since you asked, I imagine that if you ask for permission, you're not going to get it. However, if you go over there and get it and you get some information or even capture the ship, that would be invaluable
The ship's a
to the
deviant.
Navarian effort to do counter-espionage.
Yes, but Danson, we're crossing the border into Kurgan space,
How
Kurgan
little bit,
territory.
Captain.
And the other
I can send a message back to HQ if you want, but we both know what the answer's going to be, Captain.
If they're not able to signal anyone, it's distinctly possible that their black box is not in full working order. And
But it'll be
Danson,
right
are you
on time.
capable of? Danson, are you capable of just fudging the numbers in terms of where we are?
I could certainly try. Obviously, it might not stand up to intense interrogation,
It
If this was
certainly
ever to be in,
wouldn't.
say, a court.
for example.
Can't condone such an action as a security officer. I
Right.
really can't.
We should dally up.
Skipper's call.
I've heard your opinion.
Alas.
I think you're right. I think we
Alas.
should set a course towards this tumbling ship and take a look, go and investigate, basically.
I actually like Padme's idea that if we are going to basically break the rules, Skipper,
Bunch of numbers of it.
I think we should. Yeah,
Lie
I
about
think we
it.
should-
Yeah.
I think we should.
Well, as far as I'm understood, that the exact border in space is very
Twitching in the
hard
corner now.
to determine. So yeah,
Is it no Danson? I don't know.
a 4 becomes a 1. Who knows? I'm on board.
What, lie about it and document the lie
Danson is
obsessively.
completely loyal to Kiki.
Is she right? Is the space border variable?
She is the captain.
She told
She is
you
therefore
shit.
always right.
It's utterly not variable.
We're going to
It
kick
is
off
It is
war.
technically an act of war.
At
I know
a
your
very,
first
very
name,
fixed
but that
point
could
in
change.
space.
Mind you naked, stop showing off.
I like
You've
it,
seen the
already.
outcome of war, right?
Yes, I
You
have.
all
Patched
fought- you all
people
fought
back
together.
together.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
Well, we win, so it's not great for the other guy.
He's got you there, actually. Yeah, we did win.
Right,
I mean, so did they, but in a different way.
I'm the captain. I've decided we're going to take a look at the ship. Danson set
I
a
lost
course.
my entire squad.
Very good, Captain.
I'm the only one left.
Um,
I just
The music swells
Yeah, well, I
as
wasn't there for
it
that.
gets more
Yeah.
exciting as you start to approach the border. It starts to pull down. Danson puts up a countdown as you come towards the red line, sort of digitally, as it were, on the screens of the ship.
I want nothing. I want it on record. I want nothing to do with this. On record.
Five.
No, none of it's on record.
3,
Yeah, I also want the back of
Two.
the ship to be as close to the border as
One.
possible.
Ship crosses
I'm
the
still
border.
in.
We're in.
Well,
Danson
those
sort
things
of. We are now in Kogan Space, Captain, and heading for the vessel.
Right, everybody
I've
keep
got a
going
visual
about
on the
them.
ship. If you'd like to
Skipper,
see.
I think we raised shields actually. We should make sure
Yeah.
we're up to.
Yeah,
the
because
fleet.
Alan said
can we
about
not
it.
with
We're
raise
like-
shields?
we're approaching
Absolutely,
it, it's
Yaska.
Well, let's have them out until
Why
we
not
start.
warm up the weaponry?
Danny Luck, what would what?
So not
what
only
would
you're
you
crossing the
advise?
border, you're going in with all weapons ready to fire.
No, shields up, please.
Yeah, Danny
Just
Luck,
make it look
activate the
defensive,
shields
if anything, you're
and
right.
just get a low level bit of weaponry
Boss, I
ready.
don't wanna.
I don't think that's how it
I'm
works.
sorry. Are we going to go back and it's actually your court-martial for ignoring your captain's orders?
Yeah, it turns out it's actually for treason. Yeah.
Right, Ictomy, you're now security. Could you do
Oh,
that?
wow.
Yeah.
I'll just take myself to the brig.
Yeah, it's just
I know the way.
It's healing in reverse.
Just
I'm
put myself
prepared
in
for this.
Look, Danny Luck, your feelings have been documented and understood.
Good.
I
Yeah,
appreciate
good.
them.
Yeah,
However, we are
yeah.
now in Kurgan space. Please,
Against my will.
I agree,
Yeah.
but you're still here.
It's not your will.
So,
it's not
Recording,
your ship.
recording. It's not. I
For
don't
your
want to do
sake,
this.
as much as everybody else, would you activate the fucking shield? And can you please get a low level amount of weaponry ready?
No,
Not so that it looks like we're going in literally guns blazing, but just
Yeah.
we are ready.
Defensive.
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 Yeah, it's a good one, yeah.
As HR for the ship, I
Okay.
will also point out it's her boots you meant to lick first. She's the captain.
Don't care right now. This is an act of active aggression in another
Well, the
nation's
captain's
territory.
given the word. It means
That
it's
is
on there.
insubordination. If you protest too much, you should be.
Sure.
Captain, I can,
I am putting
I can
it
bring
on
up a visual of the
record
ship.
that
And she
I-
said it's no.
No, being under orders is no excuse. I'm taking myself off to the brig.
Okay.
Alright then.
Okay, I guess Ictomy is also the head of security.
Ictomy.
I'm not
as
giving
soon-
you the password.
Congratulations on your
Ictomy.
promotion.
It's fine.
Danson can unlock all the passwords for you.
Well, and as
Um,
HR, I already know your password. I've seen what you look at. So frankly,
I
you're
hope
being
you
very
cleared,
judgy considering.
I hope you cleared your search history before you took yourself off the road.
I sit down and go, oh god!
Oh, come on! This character has a stick up their arse so much, they're never going to
There's
get
a
anywhere.
site for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Where does
that's not a stick, that's a blaster.
What's the first officer do?
It's
do
a
they like
perfectly
sort these roles out?
clean
or not?
history.
You
Yeah.
basically you run the ship.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's actually you that runs the ship.
If
It's
there's a
actually
hole
you
missing,
that gives
it's me
all
to
the
fill it,
yeah. The
basically.
captain tells you what they want to happen. How it happens and how it's done is actually down to you and Danson.
Ah,
But it's basically what Kiki does is she says, "This is what we're doing."
yeah.
And then
You then decide,
This is what we're
and
doing.
you give the orders as to how that's being done.
Yeah.
But you make sure that the ship acts and fights the way that the captain.
Can
says.
Danson block an outgoing message?
Yes, Danson can do anything. You're Ian Danson.
That's the name of this episode.
We've got. I told you it would come up with recorded. Yeah. There you
That's
go.
on a t-shirt.
I'm not looking forward to the Photoshop I do of Ted Danson. That's the thumbnail.
Wow.
Amazing.
There's no
Not-
court case waiting to happen.
If I could just make it clear again, it's not 10 times.
Right,
Yeah.
well, but I can't do a Photoshop of a ship we don't have. I can do a Photoshop of a horrified Ted Danson.
Maybe the ship should be sort of a Ted Danson shape.
It should be Ted Danson's head just travelling through space.
Or just get an image of a cardboard cutout of him and just have it sideways for being the ship.
It's always been a very two-dimensional performance.
Ah.
We are within, as I've said 3 times now, Danson, we are within visual range, Captain. If you'd like to see the ship, I can bring it up onto this.
Yeah, I would say it would. Thank you. That's
So, nothing quite prepares you for the sight of a Kurgan ship. You've all seen them because you've actually fought alongside them in the war in a sort of weird sort of way. It's like everybody knew what the Russian tanks looked like, but nobody fought in one kind of thing. They're remarkable. They're remarkable things. It's like a cross between stained glass and origami. They're the most beautiful things. They're highly angled, very sharp edges to them, these things. It seems to be made of many panes of iridescent glass. They really are quite a thing. It's a very unusual shape. It's very difficult to sort of tell, well, that's the front of a Kurgan ship and that must be the top and things like that. They are these sort of highly complex, very beautiful designs, very, very different from anything you would see from any of the races that you fought alongside and things like that. However, the sort of space law being space law,
That's a
everybody
t-shirt.
has common docking procedures, because otherwise, if you did want to mount a rescue, you have to have some kind of normal docking collar that docks for everything else.
Yeah.
So weirdly, you can dock with this thing. They're
Even
all
though I
made.
don't know which end is the front and...
Danson can work all that out
Right,
for you.
okay.
Sort of, he's assessing all that at the moment, and obviously you've got basically a gravity field on your ship. So as he then says, I can now match our rotation to the ships, if that's what you want.
So if we start tumbling on purpose, we're not all going to fall.
No. You have you basically can create
Obviously,
gravity in whichever
obviously.
direction you need it to be. So
Sorry,
there's no
sorry,
open space basically. So.
I think that's a good plan.
Yeah.
He says obviously he doesn't know whether there's gravity on their ship.
Sure. So now that we're within visual range,
Ooh.
I think we can all agree that's a stunning looking ship. Not sure which end is the front.
Danson might get a bit jealous.
Obviously, it's no Danson.
Thank you, Captain.
Can we see any? There's a visual inspection.
You can absolutely do a visual inspection. Danson sort of highlights a few things that he thinks might be anomalies. It's very difficult to know if you don't know too much about Kurgan ships, but there are certain bits that look like they're kind of been melted and sort of re-hardened again. So you kind of get these very angulated bits of ship, and then suddenly there's more of an organic sort of look to certain bits of it, as if something's happened to those bits. It's not quite crumpled, but something's not quite right. And it's happened on a few different areas of the ships. There seem to be bits of distortion around the ship. Is that the way a Kurgan ship's meant to be? Is that something unusual? But it does seem out of place when you look at the way the ship has been designed.
Sure.
Something doesn't seem quite right with what's going on with the ship.
Are there any windows we can see in with Kurgans going, so we can justify it as being more of a Navaratarian mission?
Something that you probably would know is that it's almost a worship. It's not, because they are absolutely a technologically advanced culture. But there is this, being the kind of creatures that they are, this affinity to heat and light is very real for the Kurgan. So usually when Kurgan ships arrive wherever they're going to arrive, they can actually orientate themselves and change the sort of glass plating on the ships to allow more light in from wherever the localised sun is, to kind of bathe the ship in more sort of radiation and heat and light. Basically, that's what they thrive on. That's what they like. They work better like that. So there's like these sort of amazing sort of glass things can alter and stuff. So all, not my thing, though. All courtesy of Jack, by the way, came up with all these. So which is really, really cool. So thought we'd throw that in there. So yes, there probably are some sort of plates that you could see through. You can get close enough. You have to get pretty close to be able to sort of see in, you know, and see what's going on. So maybe, I don't know, if you went out on a EVA or something like that, maybe you could maybe get close enough and sort of peek through the windows and stuff. Might get a bit dangerous to sort of try and get the ship that close, matching your orientation and stuff.
Just remind me, Danson, as a seasoned captain, what an EVA is.
Extravehicular activity, Captain. So you'd have to put on your vac suits and jet yourselves over personally to go and see what's going on.
Captain, I believe Raya
It's another
had
option
the
for
most
getting into the
training in Zero G and being in a vac suit. We could send her over.
Yeah.
Him over? Where did you decide on?
She's Dialak.
I'm Danilak.
Oh, yeah, that's your first name, but I imagined we'd be referring to you as...
Oh, Lizara. Well, Lizara, it's Lizara Ray
Oh, I thought you-
or Lieutenant Danilak.
You said Danilak, so I thought it was...
Yeah.
You went male.
I thought it was like Danny Luck.
Yeah.
First name Danny. Surname Luck.
Raya is a surname.
All right.
Ah.
I see. So it's one name, not
The first
choice.
name is male.
I
The second
see.
name is female. I was giving you the choice whether you wanted to play male or
I'll go.
female.
I'll go male.
Or neither.
Yeah.
Entirely up to
Yeah.
you.
So what's your name now?
Danilak.
Still
is the male.
Danilak,
Yeah,
right.
still Danilak. Basically, he sat in the brig with the door open, watching one
You're
of his
sulking,
videos.
aren't you?
Yes, absolutely.
You're having a massive paddy.
Absolutely. Completely and utterly having a bit of a paddy, and he's going to have to be coaxed
Well,
if you want him to join.
Skipper,
My
I think we
suspicion.
ordered Danilak to go across there because it's far too risky for us just to get.
Yeah,
the ship
and I'm
that
your
close.
only combat person, so
But
that's
he's-
why he sat there going, any minute now.
Yeah,
Let's not increase the risk unnecessarily for the ship. That's
I hear what you're saying. As much as we can all agree we want Danny not to die, I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that's the
My
right course of
name.
action. I feel like
Why
My
not?
name is
Why not,
Ichika. My name is Ichika.
Itchy
I
cut.
remember my name. It's Ichika.
Itchy cut.
Ichika?
You've got some cream for
We're all
that.
here.
And you,
Yeah, no, is that just for...
That's
That's not
what
you,
just
is
for-
it?
No.
Yeah, I was
No.
going to ask if my psionic thing's getting stronger as we go near the.
Yeah, it's not my character remembering their name and psychically sending out a message from halfway across the bridge.
Just asking, just checking.
Right. I think that we should dock with this ship and go investigate. I think that you.
Yeah, let's go for it.
I'm very fond of you, Dana. You know, we've worked together for years. But I think you need to wind your neck in now and get on board.
That's not helping, Captain.
What's
You'll
this?
know that you need to grovel a little bit.
Oh, do I?
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen.
Famously, something captains are known for, especially during intense situations like this, is cowing to the wants and needs of all their crew.
of an individual in the crew, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Listen, like,
Who's meant to be the head of a whole section.
Look,
listen,
you,
Wait,
like,
actually, that's good
you're
point.
in
She's just the head, just promote someone
Enemy.
under her.
Yeah.
you're in enemy
You sheep.
space with your weapons primed.
somewhat.
Yeah, yeah. And you haven't told head office.
I thought we had sold her off.
No, they'd have said
It's
no.
a shit show
HQ.
waiting to happen. I'd like to be on record, Captain.
You're on
It's
record.
a shit show waiting to
I think
happen.
you are
You're on
on
record,
record
Dan.
many times.
But we do need to make progress.
Listen, Dana, you're on record. I very much respect your opinion, but the fact is, if we have to board this ship and deal with any
There
kind
is
of
actually a very
issues-
real question that
I'm
you
gonna need
possibly
my
want
best
to ask
security
your
person.
security officer. Is it safer to hard dock with an unknown spacecraft, or is it safer for you to go across on an EVA?
Well, this is-
EVA.
I've already made that
EVA,
decision,
absolutely.
Skipper. I think we should be
Oh,
EVA.
you think
first.
EVA?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Oh, right.
So
Yeah.
if you EVA
Well, enough, you
across,
fuck.
there's a very
Difficult back.
Friendly
Well,
fire.
if
Have
something
you
goes
heard
wrong
of it,
on the ship,
Captain?
you need to get
No,
back. You got to
Danny,
be
Yeah,
EVA
you
across.
off your trot in front of
Zero.
me. I dare you.
I-
I apologise for my outburst.
Yeah.
Wait, we're talking
Guys,
at the
I'm
same
going to
time
say,
as each
guys,
other.
let's not talk
Yeah.
over each other.
Sorry.
It's very difficult for the microphone to pick up
Sorry.
everyone. Sorry.
So actually, the Lieutenant Baz here and I, who's been advising, it's a quite high risk, Skipper. If we send the EVA over and there is a problem, then the next step could be quite difficult. But, and this is what we need you to check with Danson here. But if we send Danilak over EVA, right?
You're just sending down.
Just Danilak initially, right now on Danilak's word, we send more people over. Now, if there's a problem, can we still get the ships docking
Yeah,
later
I'm
to get back?
cycling
What
back
about
to
to a
the
safe
brig
return?
at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we have a safe return via
What do you
docking
think,
if we
Danson?
need it?
Danson, if you want Danson's suggestion, he says, I think it would be better to EVA. I can then remain to safe distance. If anything happened to their ship, it wouldn't damage me, or there's less chance of it damaging me.
You'd be able
I
to-
can also braze shields once people are across and then lower them again to allow them back in through the lock.
Does that answer your question?
Not quite, Danson.
God damn it, Danson.
One of
Pay attention!
Danson, have you been drinking again?
Can you still dock though? Can we do the EVA and then rather than EVA back, we want to dock
Dock.
back?
If I
back
have
if
to
we know
dock,
it's-
yes,
Right,
absolutely.
Yeah.
excellent. In
You
that
can
case,
self-
If we
Stop.
EVA over, check it's safe.
then we can.
Then
Or
you
is
can
Danson
Danson's
dock.
completely
Can be.
autonomous. You can all leave, and Danson's quite capable
Fine.
of coming and
Right.
getting
We're
you
good.
all
Yeah.
follow-
Skipper, we're fine. Let's EVA across.
All of
Maintain
us.
link with
You think
Danson.
so? Do you?
No, I still think we should send Danilak first.
Oh, we're not having the traditional next generation argument where you, as first officer, absolutely tell the captain he's not allowed to go on an away team anymore, and the captain tells you to stick it where it doesn't show.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Her. I was
well,
referring to next gen, to be
yeah.
fair.
I mean, the away team could be Danilak and one of the other security officers. Send 2 security officers over, and then but that's not.
Yeah,
Let's-
that's not
necessarily-
let's not
whole-
risk the
whole
prime
bridge, do we?
Yeah.
Let's not risk the whole bridge. In fact, let's only risk one of the bridge.
Yeah, this court martial's definitely because I went and shot up the entire extra crew.
Right, listen.
You just go on a kill rampage.
Yeah,
Why
right now.
What I would like to happen is I'd like Danilak and Baz, I'd like you to go
Okay.
on a
Ah,
on an
shoot.
on a what?
EVA.
EVA. Thank
Got
you.
any tissues?
Because you're a science officer, so you know
Yeah,
all the
okay,
sciencey things, and you're a security officer, so you can keep people safe.
Fair,
So-
Skipper, that's fair.
Well, yeah,
Everyone-
Baz hasn't been a bitch to me, so I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah.
I have, you just sat far enough away. You don't-
All right. Fair enough.
It's not been
I
as
don't know,
obviously
but-
aggressive as this side of the table.
So what's the plan?
Well, we're going to EVA across.
EVA across.
Engineering
So
and
who's going?
security, eh?
Me
Okay.
and.
Danlak and Baz.
Are you
security.
taking any security officers with you, or
I
is
think
it
you-
just the three of you?
No, I would prefer you to, Danlak. But yes, you're cool as head of security,
who-
but I would suggest you take at least one or two.
Of your own people. Your own team.
Absolutely.
To be honest with you, there's only three of you on board. There is only a crew of.
Oh,
I'll take,
okay.
take
Yeah,
one.
yeah,
Take
well-
one. Let's not leave.
Let's not
Yeah,
leave
that's
us
good.
all.
Yeah.
It's not-
Okay, and are they competent enough if I die?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, that's right. So how you've all worked together for years. This is not a new crew or anything. You've all been together. You've fought in the war on
Yeah.
this ship. You've been a surveillance ship. Basically, you're a spy ship,
Yeah.
effectively, for Navari. So, if that's the thing, so you're going to EVA across. So you pop on your.
Are they jetpacks or is
Yeah,
it a
absolutely.
vehicle?
Yeah. No. It's jetpacks. Basically, you've all got individual thrust units on your packs. They're also armoured, which is why on your sheets you've got 3 armour.
Is it a jetpack or is it like
Is it
RCS built into the suit?
To be honest with you, it's probably some kind of anti-grav
Okay.
or something like that. So it probably just makes its own little
Yeah.
gravitational field and then can
And-
whoop you across to wherever you need to go.
Danson, before they leave, is there any sort of additional? Can you protect them in any further way once they're on EVA? You don't kind of-
Unfortunately, Captain, once they leave the ship, not really. Once they're outside of my shields, there's not much I can do. Obviously, I will endeavour to keep communication going as thoroughly as I possibly can.
Okay.
Yep, you basically enter the airlock. You're all suited up and everything. The doors shut behind you. There's that few moments as we hear the air sort of leave, and then suddenly there's silence, and all you can hear now is the noise of your own breathing within your suits and the sort of scratchy noise that has to be, regardless of how good comms are in any sci-fi, is when the comms come in. It's always this sort of when everybody talks
Yeah,
to you.
even like way in the future.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
Never
it's
thought
just
that.
It's just has to be.
Danson, can you do me a favour and start pumping elevator music through to Danalak's communication?
Danson! Shut
Yeah, right, you're going to stop there, otherwise you're going to pay copyright.
Yeah, I
Oh,
was
sorry.
gonna
Yeah, that's yeah. Thanks. So yeah, no, the elevator music cuts off. After a moment or two.
Porridge in your boots.
There is
You don't
that
know it's
moment that is always the
Got a fairly
case
good idea.
as the doors. Are you heading out first?
Yes.
Oh,
Does yours
absolutely,
in
you're
all?
first, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Alas, but yes.
The doors, iris open in front of you, and there is that brief moment, as always, no matter how many EVAs you do, that you just suddenly, even though you're kind of out in it all the time, space is big. Space is
Wondrous.
really big.
It's big.
Um,
Space is big. You heard it from Danson.
Mm.
Absolutely.
You heard it here first.
And there's that moment of, as you leave the ship, obviously you're going to be under your own orientation. So there's this weird kind of few seconds where you need to orientate your own suit. So everything, as you leave the ship, suddenly everything behind you and in front of you just starts to spiral chaotically in front and behind you. You see the guy standing waiting to come out, sort of revolving behind you as you move away from the ship and start to drift your way over towards the Kurgan ship. But you know, I mean, it doesn't need a. You don't need to roll or anything. It's, you know, you're used to EVAs. You do it all the time. You're all highly trained. You quickly orientate yourself and you kind of match this rotation, and slowly but surely you kind of line yourselves up, and you can see this quite mundane looking dock in this rather amazing ship. It's this rather odd juxtaposition of things of the familiar and the highly exotic sort of presented in front of you. And this thing is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's only now that you're outside and you're really in space that you can see just the relationship of the dock door to the rest of the ship. Yeah, and it's kind of like, this thing is big and no idea what it's made of. I mean, you've never seen anything like it. Again, similar thing for the rest of it. As you come out, there's that few milliseconds of disorientation as you kind of line yourselves up. But very slowly, you kind of will get there. It doesn't take too long. Nothing really happens as you're going across. I mean, obviously you're on comms if you want to talk to one another. Probably take about 10 minutes to cover the distance between yourselves and over to the Kurgan.
I'm going to be scanning the ship as we go across
Yep.
because I'm looking for any changes, I'm looking for any protrusions that might be weapons, I'm looking for any breaches.
Yep. Danson doesn't seem to find. So Danson's kind of constantly inputting things into your heads-up display. You can flick through all sorts of stuff on your heads-up display. You can go through electromagnetic variation. You can pull up heat. You can pull up whatever. You can throw this thing's got thermal vision, infrared, you name it. The suits are highly advanced. All of this information is constantly sort of coming up. You can choose, telemetry, all this kind of stuff. As far as Danson's concerned, he doesn't see anything that he would remotely say as a weapon. But he'd also remotely say he can't see anything that seems to be anything other than manoeuvring drives. There's no warp technology from what he can see on this ship. There is no way for this thing to move faster than light. And this thing literally appeared in front of you. It didn't get here. It didn't travel here. It appeared here. It was not there, and then it was there.
Or cloaked.
Engineering, any ideas on the approach?
What, in terms of how we get in, or just on the ship itself?
No, are you picking up anything? Are you looking at anything?
Am I picking up
What are you
anything?
thinking?
You kind of have a little bit more of an array of things that you can bring up onto your screen, so you've got some more. You can kind of do engineering equations and things immediately onto the computer of your suit and stuff like that.
So, would I be able to figure out roughly where it came from, looking at the trajectory of where it's...
If you had to put a line back, this thing would have had to... at the speed it's travelling at?
Yeah.
It would have been out here for maybe about 150 years before it hit an object it could have come from.
Right, okay. So either it's slowed down a lot, or it's just...
Or that wasn't how it got here, or it's been travelling for one hell of a long time. But at this speed, this is nothing. It's not... It's nowhere near light speed, never mind the hundreds of times light speed that you can travel at sort of warp 6, warp 7.
No space barnacles on it then?
Nothing that would show it to be really old, so there's no meteor strikes, there's nothing. Now either it's made of a substance that's robust enough to stop that, or it's just simply not that old and it's got here by some other means.
Yeah, okay.
You're pretty much at the universal docking unit now. The others are just a couple of minutes behind you, but pretty much one at a time. You scan it. It has a manual lock release. It's a bit bigger than you're used to. It's obviously made for hands bigger than yours, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it. The writing, there's that moment sort of you get when you put Google Translate up, where you sort of look at it and you can't really read what it is, and then a few seconds later the computer kind of works it out and Danson translates everything for you, like open, close, vents, that kind of stuff, and you can see it works out the Kurgan language for you and shows you what's going on. So far, pretty uneventful, quite frankly, and nothing's happened. There are no shields in the way. Nothing's prevented you from getting to the ship.
Signs of life beyond. Now that we're close in.
Absolutely no. You are Danson's having real difficulty getting through the plating of the ship with any of that kind of analysis. You're absolutely capable of doing that kind of thing, but something's going on with the shielding or what the ship is built of that's actually stopping that kind of information.
Which
Whether
is
that will
going
change.
to the cloaking
Lead
idea.
lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the the beeper on your little device is just a very slow at the moment. It's nothing sort of
I just
kicking off.
absolutely soaked myself on camera.
I did it earlier,
Yeah, I did
it's
the
okay.
Am I the only one who was able to open a bottle?
Yes.
The answer to that, Jack, is yes, because I learnt to do that off camera before we started because I absolutely showered myself before we started.
I mean,
honestly.
It's all accustomed to this sort of top because you've got to give it some beans to open. And when you do that,
And when you do,
squeeze
it just goes everywhere.
I
Yeah.
gave it too many beans. I don't suppose we could turn the heating down.
We can. That one's already off, isn't it?
It is.
How do I turn this one off?
So there's a little dial at the side there, and there's a little switch next to the timing dial, and you push it all the way down.
Yes, very awkward.
Switch.
Yeah,
Like in the middle of the
Just
dial,
where
next to the centre button.
Yeah, no, I've got
There you
it.
go.
It's fine.
I don't know, get them open.
All the sweets, yeah, they're for everyone.
I'm so tired.
All the Harry
I'm so
Are we allowed to
tired.
say?
Help me.
Brandon?
Oh, sorry, that's in the game. I thought
That's
you were
no,
just...
no, no. I am. But no, that's
Go on.
yeah.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
My name's
I don't
Dr.
know.
Chica.
Sorry, they're talking about sweets whilst there's a desperate plea for love.
Oh, no, wait.
Look after yourselves.
I've
I
got
don't
a bit like
care.
the radio static.
I do
Yeah.
like giving
All right, bit of static just for a second.
Static
or
on
two.
the radio.
I'm sorry, you're
Yeah,
breaking.
yeah,
Captain, you're
yeah.
breaking up. You're breaking
Really,
up. Away
really
team, you're breaking
We're
up.
breaking up. Ah, there we are.
Captain, it sounds like Dan's
Just rip
breaking
it
up
all the
with
way
you.
open. Rip it all the way open,
Yeah, all the way open.
and then you can
Oh,
kind
that's, yeah, you're right.
you can get right in there.
We'll pass them down.
Do it. Yeah.
Show on
There
the
you go,
road.
quality.
Thank you.
Loving
Thank
it.
you there as well.
You've got to have a bit of Haribo, though.
Thank you.
You notice they haven't passed any to the GM, and we know what happens when that happens.
Hey, Mike Johnson.
I think
popcorn.
it's right.
John
Yeah,
will
too
have to
fucking
do
late
the
now.
passing over, yeah.
What
Too
do you
late
want?
now.
Open your mouth.
No.
Open your mouth. What do you want?
No. That's a whole game we're not getting into now. Because then I'll choke live on the street.
But on camera, though.
Yeah, you know, we've got some
Great,
ratings,
great
haven't we?
Patreon.
Yeah, no, choking on camera is definitely something to put on the Patreon.
Will it mess up the continuity if I take my hoodie off?
But all the OnlyFans, Jeff.
Would you like to
Given that
would you
this
like
is
us to
going to
pause the
be
cameras while
recorded-
you do it? Somebody
No. No, could you protect my dignity?
pull
I
mine.
will.
Tell you what.
Basically, what? Can you protect my back dignity? Come on, Ross. Get involved! Get involved! Get involved!
Get your hands in there, Ross. Go on.
I seem to have forgotten that
Just
job.
any excuse. You've forgotten how to take your jumper off. Dear God.
If that makes a final edit, I'm out.
We've been recording for 74 years.
Thank you very much for my
I've
crew.
lost the power of speech. Right.
Fry, what were you saying?
Game.
Mystic
something.
voice, something. Go on.
Yeah, I was kind of creating drama there just for a millisecond. But
But there were Haribo.
she's
so-
trying to. She's basically just saying, "This is my name, and I need help, and remember me." And what
Right.
have you.
Before they went in the airlock, would they not just back to the captain and go, look, we're in now and he wants to go in?
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
They should do,
Did
actually.
they?
Yeah, I mean, it should do.
Let's go over to the awaiting.
That would
What's the
be
awaiting?
protocol.
I've been doing this
That would
job
be
long
protocol.
enough. I don't need to be micromanaged by my boss.
Danson, please contact Danalek's life support. I need a workup on her blood to see if she's been poisoned in some way.
No, the oxygen level is a little higher.
Yeah.
Yeah, the testosterone is higher than you expect.
Because that's frequently pumped into suits.
Yeah. There seems to be airborne testosterone.
Nothing better when you're on an EVA.
Yeah,
Getting real jacked up.
yeah, absolutely. When you're on a stealth mission to an unknown spaceship, yeah.
Right, so, regardless, I've obviously been monitoring from the
Yeah.
ship, so I would
Do
radio.
they have your permission?
I would
to-
radio over, yeah.
Mission
Just
stop.
proceed with caution, guys, and maybe, you know, when this airlock does open, Danson's having trouble getting any kind of reading. Just let's open it, see if we get any more information before we storm in, yeah?
Yeah, now before we go in, mine's a blaster handgun. I'm guessing that's not kinetic, is that an energy weapon?
It's an energy weapon.
Ah, it even says there.
Yeah. I did think
It's like I thought about it and everything.
And it is
Short range.
short range, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably ideal for shit.
And it
Probably.
does.
2d6 damage.
There you go. It's
You
like
see, I read
somebody
that,
wrote it
And
down.
rolled the short range, but I didn't read the energy.
Yeah. there you go.
Because
I have an armour and boots and a hat.
Yeah, you can basically. Because it's manual, there's kind of a winch process to get it open, but it doesn't take too long. Slowly you sort of
what
crack
process?
this thing open. Winch thing. It's like a handle, they have to could do that. Campbellwick Green style. That's going to be completely lost on everybody now, isn't it? But go look it up. Or is it Chigley? I always forget which one had the guy doing the thing. Anyway.
no,
You're losing
no,
even me
no.
See,
now.
Could
I
be
was
Trumpton.
assuming you meant like a lock at a canal, but then.
Yeah, well,
No,
yes, there you
and
go.
that,
That's
yeah.
way better, actually. Much better analogy. Like a lock at a canal.
Well,
For
starting
anybody
a car
who's
in the
nothing, we should have to go and look
Yeah,
at our lock.
Starting a car in the 1920s for a lot of
That
people.
yes,
Or
there
a
you go.
window
Like a
car.
crank handle on an old car. That's thank you, Ross. That's a
But
much better.
because the gravity in the suits, you just hold it and the suit spins you around, so you just.
Yeah, the handle just stays right in you.
Yeah.
Eventually, you sort of crank this thing open. There is the. There would be, could you hear it? Not being in space, there'd be the hiss of stale air as this thing kind of goes. You can see the puff of sort of inside, and
So
sort
it's
of detritus, bits of lettuce.
those Kurgans.
Those damn Kurgans and their vegan diet.
Oh man.
Litter and detritus, bits of stuff floats out.
They're in fact.
Tomato.
Dear
They're
God.
not.
Cucumber.
They're not.
The last thing they
lizard-like,
did
they're
was
in
eat
fact
a sandwich at the salad
Space
bar.
hamsters.
Yeah. Oh man, that would just so screw with everybody if it turns out it's like
yeah.
space hamsters. That would be great.
Yeah.
Right, I'll
They'd have
come
to
up
be
with
space guinea pigs, though, wouldn't they? Zoe?
Well, that would be
I'll
fair,
come up
that.
with the law for space guinea pigs.
Okay, yeah.
My guy
Absolutely.
just gets a piece of the lettuce.
Yeah,
and
the
goes,
lettuce kind of go and sticks onto you. Peel it off and head in. You all sort of make your way into the airlock and you have to crank the thing shut. There's like a big, you know, you can read this stuff. It's all getting Google translated around you go. And you see there's kind of basically a big lever that you can kind of pull down, and that will force the airlock open. If you can shut the outside door, it will allow you in. There doesn't appear to be atmosphere in this bit of the ship.
Okay.
And even
check
if it
my
was, it's not
hit.
necessarily that you could breathe it anyway.
Check my
We know
hit. Check my
Kurgans
level.
do live in a breathable atmosphere.
Basically, as far as I'm aware, and I haven't changed it, from what I understand in Farsight, all of the races seem to come from some sort of weird common, like you all stand upright,
Yeah.
and you've all got kind of limbs and opposable fingers and thumbs and all that kind of stuff. So I think there's an idea that A, you're all carbon based, and B, you all do breathe some form of oxygen-nitrogen mix. Now, it
Right,
might be
right.
richer for some
Yeah.
than others, so it's probably not palatable for everybody, but it won't instantly kill you.
Yeah.
No one's breathing nitrous oxide or something like that.
So that raises another interesting question. Are we all sort of accustomed to 1 bar and 1 G?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
So it's like a freak that we all evolved
exactly.
on
It's this. So there's whole discussions about that. It's
Yeah.
like, is there a common ancestry that's been seeded across the stars at some point in the past, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, you seem to have these shared things. It's one of the reasons that the war kicked off. Just breaking into the story for a minute, because you all want the same kind of planets.
Right.
That's part of the problem. Everybody's trying to inhabit the same space because you all want the same things. So that's hence the funky. So eventually you do make your way out. You make your way. Power seems to be down. You make your way into a hexagonal corridor, hexagonal cross section. It's very dark. It looks very different than the outside of the ship. You were expecting clean lines, going from the outside of the ship and thing. This suddenly is warped. It seems to turn strange corners. It seems somewhat tortuous. It doesn't appear in the form that you would expect it to be.
Does it appear like gravitational anomalies have maybe occurred?
Danson is obviously getting feedback now
Yeah.
that you're sending through. And that's exactly what this seems to be like. It's like something's distorted the inside of the ship horrifically.
Do we have head cams? Do you have any kind of like?
Yeah, absolutely. It's the whole
imagine, yeah,
alien
it's
thing.
beaming back.
When the face huggers come, you'll totally get a close up. Yeah, the whole thing. Yeah.
Cool.
Good.
Yeah, cool. You can move. If you're moving further into the ship, it's cold. It's dark. And there's no atmosphere in this particular bit where you are.
Any life readings from Danton at this point? Now we've penetrated.
There are life readings. Now you've come in, there are life readings ahead of you, below you, above you. Pretty much there's stuff all over the ship in different places. In the bit you're in right now, there's nothing here immediately. You don't have, the only problem you've got is you've no frame of reference, you have no map, no blueprints that you could pull up onto your HUD as to where things might
Are
be.
they all dead? They're all dead. They're all dead.
They're
all
not,
dead.
there's life
Everybody's
readings.
dead,
readings,
dead.
There's life readings.
However, if
There's
you open
life
the door, they
readings,
will
right?
be dead.
Okay.
I just
Unless we can figure out an airlock.
To
Have
the
you
science
got-
officer, that makes sense to me.
Baz, have you got that device which allows that? So at least breadcrumbs where
What's
you've
your
been,
character's
so it
name
builds
again?
up a map as you go, a bit like a computer game.
Yeah, we'd have like some sort of LiDAR as we walk through. It makes like a 3D
Yeah.
scan of the area.
Yeah. So you can build up a map as you go.
Yep.
We haven't got one to start with. Yeah.
I will just
That
ask the
makes
others
perfect sense.
on the bridge, guys, is it this screen or has Baz got some stains on the inside of his helmet that's causing this? No, you guys can see it clear. Okay, it's the screen. It's the screen. I just want.
I'm going to send a message through to you
Did you
saying.
sneeze into your suit? Oh, damn it!
Send Padme over. It's
It
looking a
sends
bit
us over
weird
one
in
by
here.
one.
We might need a medical officer.
Sorry, you're not coming through.
Yeah, Skipper, that's a reasonable request actually. If we've got life on board and you actually think they've got.
It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird. I am unhappy, but we'll keep going.
Right.
How many medical officers do we have on bones? Padme.
Might be worth actually doing a really simple, just a couple of line
I'm
runs
on
of
a-
moving
I'm on a
forward,
team
going up,
of-
going down.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Because again, there is no
Map.
there is no map. But if you want to make one, absolutely, and we can create it as we go. So it'll be really interesting to do.
So
I'm on a team of 4.
Team of.
Yeah, for the medical team, so I can go over, but I'm the best, so none of you fuckers get sick while I'm over there.
Okay, yeah. In that case, yeah, I think Skipper.
So we've
sent
basically
Padme
got 3 of the officer team, as it were, now across. It's just yourself and the captain now.
yeah,
Is that a bad first officer thing to do? I don't know. First officer
Yes,
go over.
yes, you lazy arse.
You would go before the captain.
Well, yeah, exactly. I don't think the captain's going yet.
no, I'm not. No.
No.
I don't know if we should be thinking about doing a dock.
You would like to dock, Captain?
Well, we sent them over the initial recce. We
I
now
wouldn't
have a better
recommend it,
picture.
boss, if I'm hearing this. I wouldn't recommend it.
I'm assuming it's over open comms.
Yeah.
Wouldn't recommend it.
Like, am I already in the
Because-
zero G suit, like starting to leave the ship, and I'm like, hang on, what am I doing there?
Yeah, we want you over there.
Yeah.
Um,
And then we're going
I
to
heard, I heard requests. This is
Okay,
why.
so something is warping the inside of the ship in weird ways. If that is, I don't know, transmissible through to Danson,
Yeah.
you don't want to risk it.
Yeah, agreed.
Keep a block between you and
Sure.
this ship.
Okay.
Protect
Yep.
Danson.
First sensible thing Danilak said for
Yeah.
quite some time.
Shout out Dialog. Thanks for your insight on that. Very good.
Aye, Captain. I'm not an expert on ship herpes, but
In which case, it's me. You
Which is
and
a thing.
take you and your shittest teammate. So we've leave us with the moderate ones. And feel free to use them as a human. A shield. Yeah, could you just get over
I'm trying to
EVA
decide
over
who's worse, the Kurgans or you lot.
Skip,
yeah,
you want me over there?
I'll
or
bring
do you
Francesca
jump back
Redshirt
on the
over
bridge?
with me.
Ah.
Yeah,
Good
you
old
can go as
Francesca.
well. Yeah, well, it's just going to be me on my own.
You want me to go as well?
Well, you can fly the ship by yourself. You know, you've got that bond, haven't you? So if we all die, you're still fine.
Yeah, that's not how I want this to go.
Sure, me to go.
I think that's good captaining.
I'm not sure what value there is in me going over there yet, Captain.
I think we need to work out what's happening with the inside of a ship. So, Baz, what's your opinion?
Yeah, I'm going to
Engineering.
look around. I'm going to try and find a doorway,
Is
Okay.
there any testing you can do?
and I'm going to see if it would be possible to make an airlock so if we open it, it doesn't drain the rest of the ship and kill whoever's on board.
Oh, I reckon it would be completely reasonable that you've either brought some form of portable airlock with
Yeah.
you with that in anticipation, or you could send somebody across to get it. You would have it within 10 to 15 minutes.
Right, okay. Cool.
Right.
Well,
I hear this and grab it before I jump out the
It would be
airlock.
completely reasonable to have something like
Oh,
that.
well,
The doors
can
are
you
then
get
off
some
this
hard-
main section.
Off this main section, you can, up ahead of you, you can see 4, and then weirdly this corridor just stops.
What do you mean stops?
It just stops.
Like
It
dead
doesn't seem to. There are 4
Yeah.
left, right,
Yeah, is there a dead end, or does it just cease to exist?
I was going to say, is it a blackness outside of space and time?
If you're going to approach that end of the corridor, it looks.
I grab the back of your suit and just
Like-
go, no.
It looks like diamonds almost, as I can say. So, starlight, diamonds, some form of field of some sort at the end of the
Okay.
corridor.
Yeah, let's not go into that.
Whatever analysis you're pointing at its science officer, it literally just disappears into this. You
Okay.
are getting nothing
No
back.
readings at all.
You get the ferrous readings of the material around.
Yeah.
Anything like that, you can, I'm not going to sit and bore you with it now, but you can work out the chemical composition of the corridor that you're standing in. You can work out whatever kind of obsidian-y glass substance that the doors are made out of, but you get absolutely nothing back from this sort of end of the corridor.
Grab something and just throw it towards it.
very good.
Nice.
One of the other
crew.
crew, or
Well, he's not there yet, so.
Well,
He's not
I
yet.
just realised
there'll
I'm
be a piece
wearing
of
a
lettuce
green
that
top,
you can
so-
throw. So yeah,
Exactly.
you grab something from the salad bar that apparently is on this picture, and you hurl it through. It literally just disappears, goes through some kind of field, and it's never seen.
And
Do
then
we
on the
see
other
it
side,
touch
somebody's
it,
got a
or does
face
it just
full
sort
of
of
it.
fade out?
It hits it, and there is it's almost a quicksandy thing where it hits it and seems to slow, but there's a very deliberate motion as it goes
Right.
through and passes through this.
Is it like a
this
rip in
small-
space? Is that how they've arrived here? There's like a rip in. You
In the
Space
space-time
is some-
continuum.
can. So, yeah, space is somehow connected suddenly.
There's like a worm.
Yeah, like a portal like that. Yeah.
Baz,
Yes.
apparently you can get a reading on the sort of chemical composition of a ship and
Mhm.
doors and everything. Not this weird hole, but yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Liaising with Danson, is this what you would say is sort of typical of a Kurgan ship? The kind of materials that we
How
know
much
to
do we know?
use?
Yeah.
It would make sense.
I'm
knowing
only
from what's outside.
Saying that the
and stuff.
outside looks weird, the inside looks weird. Is there something up with the ship? Could it maybe not be Kurgan?
I
It's fake
think
in
it's
some
Kurgan,
way.
and as far as I know,
Certainly
from,
seems to be Kurgan. It's in Kurgan's space.
we've
Right.
not studied many Kurgan ships, but I'd
Sure.
say that it's like
You know enough
just-
about them. I mean,
Well,
there'll be a like of somewhere there's a Jane's Guide to Kurgan ships. You know what I mean? You
Well,
don't know
I mean,
much
we're
about their
not like-
technology level and stuff like that.
Well, we're not super pally though, so I've probably not
No.
personally
Yeah,
investigated.
you wouldn't
one, but
share
it-
technology.
No,
with
but it's
the Kurgan
nothing.
or anything.
Yeah, but
There's
it
nothing
looks like
jumping
it-
out to you as
it would
this
just be a
might not be
normal
good.
ship.
Poor choice of words, Captain.
Yeah.
Say, there's nothing jumping out at you.
And at that moment, no.
That's what we call tempting fate.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you want to do? You've got your portable airlock. You've got quite a few of you now. There's what,
Push
nearly
this-
half the crew across there.
Push
The
Padme
medical thing,
forward to
security and
analyse
stuff.
it.
Your security guards are basically standing with blasters, either end of the corridor, sort of watching around, making sure nothing's happening. I'm assuming that's
Yeah,
standard security
absolutely.
protocol.
Absolutely.
The medics turn up
Yeah,
if they're
analyse
going
it.
across.
It's metal. I'm using my bioscanner.
How are you?
Still
You've
metal.
not just got your finger held
Yeah.
up like that.
Bang bang. It's not alive.
So
I
there's
don't
four
want to say
doors.
he's dead.
There's
Jim.
definitely life beyond this door, if you can get through.
Which door is this?
The door
This
to
is
the
the
afterlife.
second door on the left. It's nearest to the area where there's this weird field.
Right, so
thing
you go 1,
going-
2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
It would be 3.
Yeah.
I've got a D4.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Do you want to see which door we're going to airlock off and go through?
Go
Yes,
for
I
it.
love the idea of you rolling this because we're in zero gravity, so you'll just.
Door 1, the
Oh,
closest
so
on
the
the
first one, so it's on the left. It's the first door on the left. Is the one that you decided to airlock.
Okay, I put the
Yeah,
things
it's,
on the
it all
corridors
marries up and all
and-
that kind of stuff. And after it takes a few minutes to sort of create an atmosphere in there. But you get the little green light, and the seal around the iris on your side turns green, which is the universal colour for go.
Yeah, it makes the pleasing ping sound.
Yeah. Of course, you've got no idea, have you?
No.
No, so it's gone brown.
Okay,
which
well, as
is
long
the
as we've got these
traditional
blue
colour.
screens up behind us, Martin, we're all good.
Can I ask a question?
Of course, you can ask a question.
Thanks.
No.
Okay.
You're not here to have fun.
So, we talked before we started filming about me having a main power of prescience,
Indeed.
which I understand is a psionic knowledge and ephemeral
Ooh.
It's to do with the skill,
proficiency.
yeah. Ephemeral
So
proficiency.
this means I can have any skill for a minute.
Yep.
Any skill for a minute.
Wow.
So,
Nice.
are there
That's
any
pretty
skills, people who know this game better than me, that could help us identify what this?
I don't think any of us really know the game, to be honest.
Better than me was the
I was
criteria.
gonna say.
I'm going to hate myself forever for saying this, but erudition would
Erudition,
probably
that's
be
right,
the
yeah.
skill.
I would go with that.
What's erudition again?
Wisdom.
Erudition is
Wisdom.
basically, it's sort of book learning wisdom. It's kind of being well read, perhaps being a bit knowledgeable about a little bit of everything.
Well, it's what I was thinking more like, like
Wrestling?
premonition. I was thinking more premonition.
So you want it more of a psychic ability to what might happen if you did something with it, you think? Or what's beyond
Yeah,
the door
maybe.
that you're
What
going
would
to open?
happen if I sent Daniel through it?
Through the field or
the
through the
field.
door?
I resign my commission effective immediately.
I can just see what would happen. You might
Lucy.
decide. You might
Plus,
love
this is all
it.
happening in her head. You've got
Yeah,
no
that's
idea.
great,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
great.
Lucidity,
But the second that
lucidity,
order
what was
comes
that again?
through,
I can't remember off the top of my
I
head.
wondered if
Ross.
that was more.
It's just sort of presence of mind.
I think lucidity's to do with combating psychic.
Oh yeah.
I think, but I'd have to look.
It's a
it
good
up.
idea,
People are
though.
going to
Give it a
so
go.
tell me
Thanks.
off for not knowing the game.
Hang on.
So are we
I literally
talking
have
about
a
the
breakdown
weird
of this
fields? Zoe, or are we talking about the door that you just put the
I
airlock
think the
on?
weird field. I'd like to know what
The
that
weird
weird field
field.
is.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good suggestion.
You get the most. Yes, you can. You get the most weird, horrible. You get like these the real sort of rapid cuts of suddenly just you mentioned character. This thing of just sort of screaming and there's and then it cuts out again. Almost immediately. It's like literally just a few seconds of some violent scream and then it stops.
Yeah, Daniel, like, get through there. And,
It'll be perfectly safe.
right, so we're probably not a good thing then. Yeah, that one. Right, are we going through this door?
I'm,
She says from a safe distance.
We're not Skipper.
I
Our
think
18.
and you're wondering where
Yeah.
my attitude
Waiting.
comes from.
I tried to put a finger on my nose to avoid it, but I just hit the.
Yeah,
front
yeah.
of
You
the,
should realise
the
you're still wearing a
helmet.
vac suit. Yeah.
I think that'll be security's job to take point on this.
Yeah,
would.
do now.
Yeah.
I think this is an engineering question, personally.
I think the engineering has done their bit
No,
when
I
they made.
hate to say it would be security.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be
Go
you. You
on.
can send your trips in.
Sorry, troops. I thought you said drips, and it's just
No,
like
no.
you're just insulting them before they die horribly.
The doughboys, they can go in. Yeah. Well, the three of you can go in and kind of you can fan out through the room.
Yeah.
So you can get three of you into the airlock. That's about. I think
Sure.
for a portable airlock, that's reasonable. 2 or 3 would be the most. Yep, and it cycles through. You can undo the door now with the usual thing. As you open it, you're now suddenly you can hear sound from within. There's a peculiar gong noise that's going off every few seconds, and this sort of reverberates through the ship. In this area, you still haven't got any lights in here, but there is atmosphere in here. You've walked into what appears to be some sort of storage room or something like that. There's no discernible and obvious focus to the room or particular use. You know, it's not like, I don't know, medical tables or something like that in here. Seems to be storage boxes, that kind of stuff. They're all over the place, and of course we've still got no gravity, so there's things floating about all over the place within the room as you go in.
If there are boxes and packages, do they have like nifty little shipping labels with dates and things on and addresses?
Yeah, absolutely.
Nice. See,
Yes,
that's why
absolutely.
you're head of security. Oh, I was thinking.
So in here we have the Kurgan version of MREs. They're dated to what you work out looking at the Kurgan calendar. They're probably no more than about a month old.
Now,
They're in here.
now, are Kurgan's sort of like the French, where they're known for like fancy MREs, but like the Russians,
Well,
where
you
they're
don't
like
know.
a real piece
You've
of
no
shit.
idea. You'd have to open some and try some.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
It's a safe bet. There's lettuce in some of them apparently.
Well,
So you know,
well, yeah,
that's some sort
apparently
of-
so.
Exclusively eat
Now,
lettuce. I don't
yeah,
know.
a meal ready to eat.
Oh, meal ready to eat.
Yeah.
Right.
Now,
Down
In-
M&S and get me
in
down.
space, would a good way of storing vegetables just be have a hole with a force field, because there's no air?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's have a vacuum.
Oh, you could design this.
Oh, yeah.
Resign your commissioners, go off and invent this instead. you
The
know.
ultimate
Yeah.
CRISPR.
Yeah. Totally.
Do you know what?
Um,
I keep hearing different ideas for why this court martial's happening, and it's just funnier. It's like, so why did all of your crew quit and start a company designing
The
fridges?
ultimate CRISPR.
So yeah, that seems to be. There's things like that. There are spare vac suits in here. All the kind of mundane things that any ship of the line would have to have. There's nothing particularly exotic about any of it. It is drifting about though, so you need to be careful in here. If you're going to go into this room, you probably want to make some kind of dex roll just to make sure you don't get clouded across the back of the vac suit by a wandering box that you didn't notice. or
How would
something
I
like
do
this.
that?
So you'd roll 2d12, you'd add your dexterity and any skill that you might think. If you come up with 12s or 1s, let me know.
Wait, hang on, this is our first official roll.
5 and 2, so
Okay.
and my dex is 2.
Okay. So
So
since we're looking for something around about the 15 mark, that's probably not good enough.
it's really not good.
So you step in and almost immediately one of your guards grabs the grab handle on the back of your suit and sort of pulls you back in very quickly as one of the boxes literally sort of glides past. It's like, steady, sir.
You almost got
Yeah.
dwarfed.
Yeah.
Um, If you want to venture out, you can have another attempt. If you want to move further into the room.
I will. I'll take a deep breath and I'll go. Oh, whatever.
You're wearing a suit, I mean.
If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. Whatever. Well, I rolled a 1.
Whey!
What's on the other dice?
A 6.
Okay, so what have you actually rolled all together?
9.
Okay. So it's like undeterred. You kind of, that's fine. Thanks for the warning, and you sort of step forward. And you know, all you lot see on your screens is 1 minute she's standing there, the next one is like just gone.
Birdies,
And you sort of-
birdies,
And you sort of
birdies.
go, and you get carried off, and you kind of have chance. You grab onto the box, but you're kind of now sort of flying around the room attached to a box.
And it's the same box on the rebound.
Just make me a roll. Just make me a
Okay.
2d12 roll. Tell me what you get.
7.
Wow.
I think I'm going to have to
Your
retire
suit.
these.
You definitely damaged the motility of your suit. You're
Yeah.
not going to be able to reliably EVA back across.
Oh no.
You've got warning lights coming up on your suit. You're not damaged,
Yeah.
but you are sailing around sort of uncontrollably attached to a box at the moment, and your suit is definitely throwing up warning lights onto your screen.
Looks like we're going to have to leave her behind.
Looks like that box is on your head of security.
Can you do anything about this?
No, I deal with ships, not suits, I'm afraid. It's not my area of expertise.
We can vent your
If it was a
oxygen,
warp
make it
drive-
quick.
Danson can do that remotely. This is all, but you've got everybody's telemetry up on the screens, and you think
Yeah,
you can
there
see
we
what's
go.
going
This
on.
is problematic, Skivett.
You know this power that I have? Can I use it as much as I like?
Well, until you run out of points. If it's the skill thing that you're doing,
My
Uh,
main power, my prescience.
yes. So if you want to do that,
Yeah.
you've got how many points did we say it is written on your sheet?
Probably
second- on your
about
second character
8,
sheet. 8 to 9, I think.
Nine.
Nine.
And
So-
if you're using the premonition power, what you'd be going for is omen, which is perceiving results of a specific course of action, and that's 2 side points for each use.
Well, I'm not paying those points. I didn't even agree to that.
Well, there you go.
Right. But moving forward. No, I will.
Is anybody going to help your poor security?
So, is there any way that I can use my
Did
power
you get
to
those-
fix her suit or help her? Sorry,
Not
him.
from here. You can get suited up and get across there and go
We
and
could
help.
take a spare EVA suit across.
I think
Yeah,
we
just
should. I
get
think we
the
should look at that.
Just love the idea of you
yes.
bouncing around for
Okay, so
half
it's
an
not
hour.
like
On the box.
a massive deal.
It's like, yeah,
As long as you get a good
whatever.
night's sleep.
I could take a spare EVA over.
I just think that most of the crew is now on this.
I'm
other
loving
ship.
how
Half the crew.
reluctantly they say it.
Yeah.
If
well,
I
half the crew.
really
I mean,
must.
as she's bouncing past, can I just try and grab her by the ankle? Him by the ankle.
Can you imagine everybody back in the courtroom while all this is going on? Jesus Christ! Is this the best we've got to offer? This is one of our finest crews. It's like, oh, and we're showing the Kurgans this shit.
How did we survive the last war?
Yeah, and we won. Oh my God! How bad and inept are the Kurgans?
So, I'd like to ask Yasker and Danson if we can revisit docking now that
We can revisit it.
we've
I
established
can't. Danson can't dock.
that there's a breathable atmosphere over there. One of our crew is in trouble. I'd like to go and try and help her.
Yeah.
Danson could also equalise. If you dock,
Yeah.
he can equalise the bits that haven't got
Yeah.
atmosphere as well,
That's-
because you can seal across to Danson and then share some
I
atmosphere.
thought
That
we
is
were worried
good.
about ship herpes.
But wouldn't that be a
Well,
digital
that is a
thing,
risk.
not the air itself? I
Mm.
mean, we're breathing in the air.
Yeah.
can't
Well,
we?
Danson,
Yeah.
Danson, can you give us a probability of success for docking without any damage to yourself?
Nice.
99.9%.
Well, in that
That's
case,
pretty high.
maybe we
Commander,
should just
sorry.
dock.
Let's get docked, baby.
99.9%, I said, didn't I? No, it's, it does take a
proceed
few
to dock.
minutes. He's very, very careful about it, and he docks. There's no problem. Danson can dock with this thing. There is the satisfying thunk of the two hulls
I
coming
imagine he's
together.
a very skilled docker.
He's incredibly skilled. The one thing
If there's one
You
thing
are
you can
good
say
at
about
it.
Danson,
He knows how to do a good dock.
oh, we can dock.
Danson
right up,
docker.
right
That's
up,
that's
to, right
interesting
up to the
thing.
maker's label.
Danson
He's,
docker.
he's thoroughly docked with the other
Please
ship.
can let's get docked baby be your equivalent of make it so. Just something you say at every opportunity.
Yeah.
Dockers.
The pressure can be equalised where you are now. Those of you who haven't gone through the airlock on the ship, there's now breathable atmosphere where you are. It's all come up on your suits as Danson has done. There's this thunk as the two ships come together. You feel it through the bottom of your boots and everything, and a few minutes later, everything equalises up.
I'm going to turn off my O2 tank and breathe the atmosphere then.
Right.
Yeah. Oh,
Now, here's a point. I'm going to roll for this. I'm going to see if
Are you still on the
Danson's
box?
gravitational field is powerful enough that he can actually allow gravity onto the Kurgan ship.
ah.
So let's
Well,
see
which
what's-
point I'm going to put
That would help Danny lock out.
whatever and
Can't read it. Oh. Danson can, if you wish, he can equalise gravity across
Yeah, do
both
it.
ships.
Do it, I think. Don't you think, first mate?
Would it
Do I have
equalise,
warming?
or would it
Costs energy, doesn't it? Do we want to do that?
have a point of gravity so everything's sort
See,
of...
I
With the
don't
roll
know
I
yet,
just made, he
but-
can
I
comfortably
disagree,
make a
yes.
gravity field big enough for
Very
both
good.
ships. Might use some of his
Convenient.
energy.
Yeah.
He'll have to use some of the
I feel
warp
quite
energy,
sure
but you're not
Danny
warping
still
anywhere at
attached
the
to a
moment,
box
so
like
it'll
that.
take the
That's
warp
Guys,
engines
we're
offline.
simultaneously talking again. It's
Sorry.
very bad for the audio
Yeah.
on the podcast.
Yeah. So it's going to take the warp engine offline to do it, but you can do it.
I mean, we wouldn't be warping with this thing attached, would we?
No.
'Cause-
No.
so either way, we'll need to detach before we warp away. So
Have we thought about how we might tow this thing? We'd literally got to get a big rope.
It's probably doable, yeah. Something probably
doesn't-
not far off that.
It doesn't weigh anything. Right?
Well,
Space.
no, but if we do warp with it attached by rope, will the rope hold up? Is my
So
question.
we're stealing a Kurgan ship
It's
from
not
Kurgan
stealing.
space, so
Well, the
that we
captain hasn't
can
given
check.
any of those orders,
No,
have you?
no, I haven't.
Skip
So
Check out
far, I
the
think it's a
tech.
search and rescue mission.
Well, yeah, but if we do have to sneak them for
Let's-
safety.
With all guns blazing. But
Let's
Yeah.
get
yeah.
let's
And
do the
shields up,
gravity.
Yeah,
Let's,
I think I agree.
Obviously, the
Right,
shields
then.
have had to come down to
Because you
dock.
docked.
Right. When do they recharge?
Oh, they can come back up, but you'll have to undock from the ship to do it.
Well, we've got radar, right?
And probably something better than radar.
Oh,
to be
that-
fair.
Space radar. Space radar. Space radar.
Space
Hey,
radar.
Yeah, Danson's trying to use
Yeah.
sonar, but it doesn't work so well in a vacuum. He's like, I keep sending out these pings. It does
But
nothing.
nothing happens. It's
They just
weird.
go.
Yeah. But he doesn't because he
They
just
go
says
nowhere.
the word ping.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Dancer's going through.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
Yes, gravity. We're
You can now all hear this noise, by the way, this gong that keeps going off all the time. And you can hear, and now, of course,
I know you
can
hear.
you roll 2d again?
Yeah.
You knew what was coming.
Or be junked.
Ooh.
That's
Oh,
better.
that's better.
That is better. 15 in
15,
total.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you sort of get yourself out from under this box and land on top of it as this thing comes crashing down the floor. I mean, sadly, in a proper Wile E. Coyote moment, the box that's above you that you haven't noticed, of course, no. It's,
As the medical officer, I will go over and sort of check her life support for any internal bruising or damage.
she's a bit battered around. It seems like the suit's taken most of the damage, so that is going to need replacing and repairing.
Danson, can we get that suit fixed now?
Well, if
I
you
can
bring
just
it back
walk
over to
through
me.
now and,
Yeah.
and get changed to
Yeah.
second suit.
I think get a new suit on.
Yeah, yeah,
Get yourself,
absolutely.
You know, safety first.
Fantastic.
There's still this plaintive cry only in your head of this poor
Oh no, I've docked it, baby.
woman. Yeah.
Right.
Just so you know.
So,
Danson does point out as well, we are in Kurgan space. They are going to come. If this ship, it's logical that the ship has something's happened to it. They're going to wonder what's happened to it, and they're going to come looking for it.
Now that our ship has docked, do I detect anything else sort of electrically happening in the Kurgan ship as like a signal to say it's docked?
So what we'll let me just make a little roll here. No.
Okay.
Is the easy answer to that. No,
That
I was
works
going to
for me.
see what Danson can actually do from here. No, you don't get any further information.
Danson.
Oh no, I was meaning from sort of my own suit scanners. Do I see anything changing in the ship now that we've docked? Like any
Not
lights or anything?
particularly.
or-
Life forms are moving around all of a sudden because there seems to be gravity again. So
Right, okay.
something seems happening that way.
Danson, can you now correct this ship that was tumbling uncontrollably? Now you're docked with it. Is there anything you can do to?
Let's see if he's actually got enough mass to make that
That's true
happen.
because he talked a big game about being able
He
to
did,
do
didn't
that.
he?
That's a big
yes,
smart.
Captain. Yes.
Right, well, I
okay.
think let's do that. Stop this ship tumbling aimlessly through space.
Yep.
Let's
Okay.
do that.
So you can start to hear you don't hear so much as feel the thrusters on Danson sort of fire off, and he slowly and surely starts to bring this thing into a more flat trajectory. So it's now still moving uncontrollably on its own, but it's not tumbling through space anymore. It doesn't have any form of drive of its own at the
The
moment.
engines are out.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. So you've stabilised it. You've got gravity. You've got atmosphere.
Okay, so what do you think, crew? Do you think that we should go through the door, try and find out what's going on with this ship?
Well, we're all here now, aren't we?
We are all.
Can
already
you,
here.
Yeah.
Max? Sorry, I've forgotten your character's name.
Baz.
Baz and the
Baz.
security officer. You would be. Well, actually, you wouldn't because you're being repaired, aren't you?
I'm currently
So just yourself,
Mhm.
and possibly the command crew back on Danson. Can you all make me some kind of? Let's have a look at the character sheet. I need some kind of notice roll, effectively, is what I'm after.
Alertness
Yes, that sounds great. Let's go with that.
or inspection? Is it
Yeah.
sort of an
No,
abrupt
alertness.
thing or
Alertness.
What's that? 5 and a 7 and a 3. So 15.
15. You hear very definite footsteps, or you feel very definite footsteps that aren't your lot. It's vibrations coming through the hull, through the plates of the hull,
From above,
through your
below,
suit.
right.
On your level, coming from
Okay.
the far side, you think of this room where you are. This room is probably about 10 metres across, 30
Yeah.
feet or so.
Wait,
And there's
just
now all
to-
these boxes all over the place on the floor.
I was just going to say, we're not still in the hallway and it's on the far side of the weird anomaly.
No, you are into this room now because you've come in to administer aid to the security officer, who I don't know if you've gone yet or you're going to go and get another
I
suit.
think I would have been. Basically, once everything had righted and docked, I'd be like, yeah,
I mean, the commander can bring a suit over for you. He was going to.
meet halfway and I'll grab it and
I
it'll
mean,
take
to be
me
honest,
time
they're
to put on.
probably
Even if I'm putting it on
they're
in
probably
the airlock.
segmented suits that you can kind of latch bits off
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
put bits on, so this stuff can be done out in space, so that you don't like get stranded in a suit that doesn't work. So it probably wouldn't take that long to actually
Sure.
just take the EVA pack off and put another one on and clip it into place. Probably
Sure.
takes a couple of people to do it, but it's certainly doable. Yeah. So that's what's happening, Max.
Okay. And did these two roll?
Did they roll?
Yeah, did Jocelyn roll? I thought you said the other.
You might have to roll
I was
because
just-
you're on the ship.
Yeah.
You can do. Yeah,
I mean, okay.
go for it.
I'm not. Cool. And
You can all make a roll because if you guys want to make a roll as well, it's to see if you notice
15.
these. What's up there?
15 as well, yeah.
Beat 15. All make
Oh
it.
gosh, 20 something or other.
Good roll.
Wow.
20 plus
24.
4.
So as you feel it, you actually see on the camera, you see a
Can
couple
I
of
use
Kurgan.
your
In the loveliest way, it doesn't really matter. They will absolutely go for it because
Yeah,
Ross has
let's
made
be
it.
involved.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
That is nice.
That is good.
It's pretty good as well, yeah.
It's 21.
Excellent. So
So the man on the
Literally
ground.
Why we're
at
the
the same
senior
time.
officers.
This is it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
It's how I
They,
learned
They
this.
use the big bugs.
Yeah.
They basically hail over to you lot that you've got armed Kurgan on the far side. They're coming into this room, the opposite side of the room where you are, and they're hiding behind boxes and things. There seems to be two of them. They're
Okay.
armed.
I'm going to quickly pull out some medical equipment so it's very obvious that it's not like an aggressive thing. No, I'm going to essentially open up a med kit as if I'm here to administer aid.
Hey, I like
Yeah,
this.
I'm going to holster my weapon and say, "Ho there, strangers."
Baz is straight in there.
Because I don't know their customs, so I'm just going to go.
Would you
know.
like Danson to interpret that into
Yes,
Kurgan
please,
for
sir.
you?
Yeah.
So you say, "Ho there, strangers," and what you actually get out is comes out.
Yeah, and then Danson can say that through speakers in my suit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, our suits hopefully dancing.
I think it
But
was...
you missed the opportunity to say we come in peace.
Well, that's true, but we don't necessarily, do we? To be fair,
Well,
let's wait and see how it
I think
goes.
that's what Kirk said every time he beds one of those alien women. So anyway,
oh,
That's nearly as bad as the
I think
James
it-
Bond one, isn't it?
yeah.
I think at this point, I think as captain, I would get involved. I'd go and meet whoever's come.
So you're going to make your way over.
Yeah, I'm going to make my
Okay.
way over. Yeah.
As that happens, whatever the Kurgan for shove it comes back at you, and they shoot.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Oh, and they shoot quite well. Oh, not quite well enough.
Oh.
There's definitely an energy blast comes over and melts the side of one of the crates that you're hiding behind from where you were. So I'm assuming
Okay.
you're not
I'm
stupid
taking my
enough not to take cover.
time.
This is energy weapons, isn't it?
This is an energy weapon.
Not that it
So
matters,
just to
actually.
say, energy weapons halve your armour value
Yes.
because they can basically rip through your armour. So, just so you know.
So as captain, can I send a message
Yes.
through the door to
Absolutely.
the Kurgan
Yeah.
through
course.
Danson
Yeah.
along the lines of stop fucking shooting us. We come to help you because your shit was in trouble.
Yep, you
And
absolutely
if
can.
you want us to leave, we will. We know we're in your airspace.
Don't admit that. Fuck.
No, Captain, you,
Half the cringes.
basically it comes.
We know
so
we did aboard it.
it basically comes out as howl, howl, gobble, gobble, howl, howl as it gets
Yeah.
translated into Kurgan, and you get back gobble, gobble, howl, howl, gobble, gobble, and that comes back as I don't know, shove it. Basically, is what they're saying to you.
Tell them we're a weather balloon. That's it.
Don't get it.
How very topical.
We're private citizens.
The
Oh,
satellite dish.
I thought it was a game.
Spy thing.
No.
No.
Right,
Yeah,
well,
they're going to continue to fire at you. You can see all the life signs coming down.
Right, can I come in and just scream at them? Oi, fuck faces! What the fuck do you think you're doing? Stop it! Because I'm coming with the Kurgan aggression at them. Because I know that, you know,
Do you?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Help us.
What I'm going to do while she's making a distraction,
I'm going to run.
well, I've
you're the
probably
medic.
got a
Yeah.
couple of breaching charges, small things that would make a small hole in something like a
Jesus
lock.
Christ.
On the way out, either side of our sort of docking ports, and then set them remote, so that when we get out, we can just full of vacuum back into
I just slap
You
her on
are
the shoulder
still
on the way
getting
past. But yeah, man.
Plaintive cries as this humanoid voice, not Kurgan voice, from the ship. Just saying.
Do we hear that now?
No.
Or is it still
No.
only? Yeah.
No. Purely in Kiki's head.
Well, meanwhile, I think I'm getting blaster gun out
Yeah, well,
and defensive
absolutely.
position and to really actually defend the captain, skippers. So that's the job.
So, from what you can see, some of the blips on your sensors are moving down towards you, and some of the blips on the sensors are. There's not many. There's probably about another 2 coming down towards you, so there may be 4 Kurgan. And
not
there's
far
probably
too
another
many.
2 moving somewhere else in the ship, and they're moving quite rapidly to another area of the ship.
So you think there's
There
6
is
Kurgan
one-
on board?
There seems to be.
At least.
There is one other life sign further back in the ship.
Hmm.
That's what you get on the sensors at the moment.
I just need to do a cushion readjustment.
Ooh, absolutely.
Sorry.
I'll
So,
not do
Well,
that.
Kurgan, isn't it?
The Kurgan are going to fire again unless we're going to go to initiative. We'll get into combat.
well,
Well,
I
have
did
I managed
my.
to set my charges? On
I think you can run out and set your changes.
Am I able to scarp?
So
As a
this
doctor,
will be
it's
your.
not
This is
really-
your action before we get. If we're going to get into combat, then we're going to start rolling initiative in a second.
I think
so my
the Kurgan-
I
kind
think
of
we should get
words
to
didn't
combat.
help.
No, not at all.
Are the Kurgan in back suits?
They're in some form of armour from what you can see.
But no helmets.
Ah, no, they're wearing helmets.
Okay, and do they look like they would?
Because the ship was
like-
failing atmosphere and gravity before
Right,
you lot
okay.
popped up. So.
I'm going to start
But there's
shooting
more of
them.
us.
Okay.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Shooting.
So we need initiative then, folks.
Sure.
So basically, it's 2d12 plus your dexterity, and then let me know what you get.
Shit.
Yeah. I was about to advise that we flee, but we
So
seem to be.
Ross, what did you get?
I got. What do I add to my?
You
Where's
don't-
Dexterity?
I need new dice. I rolled a 2 and a 1.
10.
10.
13.
Sarah,
Sorry.
you got what?
6, but I did roll a 1 with it.
That's
Thank
okay.
God.
I know,
Not
right?
well, is it?
Can I have better
sorry?
dice?
What'd
Have
you
you got any more
17.
dice?
Oh, there we are.
Wow.
Yeah. Go bad.
Jack.
16.
16 and
13.
13. Let's see what Kurgan gets. Kurgan did terribly well.
Oh dear.
The
Sorry.
Kurgan
How good
gets
is
20.
Oh, fleeing was my idea. I was thrown it out there.
Well, you did
So
a
the
lot
Kurgan
of
against
that.
shoots. Now you're not there. Now you've run off. The security officers run off. We've got 2 security guards.
I've run off to plant my stuff, so I'm.
You're kind of out of the field of
Yeah.
fire. So
Who's
Captain,
actually
are you
left to fight
there?
here? Like we got.
You've
I'm
got 2
fine.
security guards. Oh, you're back now.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you've got
I'm
3
gonna be-
security.
Yeah, good.
We've got yourself.
Yeah.
And the captain, did you go
Yeah,
across?
yeah, yeah.
Yep,
I'm not
you're in
just
there.
had to
Okay,
quarantine.
so we've got 1, 2.
This is very
Well, we've got
old
you
school
3.
Star
So
Trek.
really, the most important was that. So let's see what we get. Ooh,
Gang out.
right. So. Oh my goodness me, the Kurgan rolling very well. The Kurgan hits
Can
one of
we
your
swap
security guards.
Your dice.
No, you'll find it's a variable roll. The GM will always roll better than
Yeah.
you, pretty much all of the time. It's just the way that it goes.
Like in the casino.
Unless, of course,
Yeah.
you're John.
Yeah, yeah, he was internally cursed. Yeah. So basically, it does enough damage. This energy bolt comes across, and one of the red-suited security guards goes hurtling backwards, and you see the sort of energy thing melts through their suit. It's like,
I can fix that.
Are we still going to have atmosphere?
yeah, they've still got atmosphere. If only they could breathe through the lungs, they just got seared by an energy blast. But yes.
It's fine, I've got spare
I
lungs.
thought it just went through the sea.
No. It's, there's a sort of cry and then stillness as they hit the floor.
Captain.
Bobby, your wife, she's giving birth next week.
Max, you're up.
We may want to flee.
Could I make a shot from here?
You can
I'm sort of
absolutely make a
behind
shot
my
from here.
men.
Yep. They get. They are in cover,
Mhm.
so they'll get a +2 on this. But if you go for it,
Okay.
let's see. So you're aiming for a 17, basically.
Right. And that's only a +1 because I'm not a combat bloke.
Oh dear.
7 plus 7 plus 9 plus 1.
There you go.
Wow.
Perfect.
That'll do it.
Well, you know.
Almost exactly.
Yeah, it was.
So you
pretty
take a bit. So you
cool.
actually, as a minor action, you can have a +1 to aim. So you sort of, balance your gun on the top of the
Yeah.
thing that you're hiding behind and
Oh, nice.
make an aim shot and then you hit. So
I'm going to
2d6
pop the
damage.
helmet off a guy and shoot
Well, let's see what
through
happens.
to his
Roll
head
two,
is my
yeah.
aim. So 2d6. 4.
Okay, so you do 4 damage. You do hit the helmet,
Mhm.
if you'll excuse the expression. But you don't know whether it's gone through or not. But he certainly ducks back down behind cover, so he won't be shooting again this go. We have got next on the go is Jack.
Yeah, so from your description, it sounds like I won't be able to help the security guy. Okay.
In your professional opinion, he's dead, Jim.
Yeah. So I'm going to get myself in position to be able to duck in and help any of the crew that does get injured and not instantly dead, whilst using a minor action to aim my helmet cam at Danilak. So if she does fire upon the enemy, then I can say that it was part of. It was an act of war, and after she mutinied on the ship.
Thanks.
Wow, that's a lot for one action. But yes, okay. Right.
Oh,
So
the blame comes later. It's not. Yeah, I'm not blaming her now. I'm not sending it back to
My own
to the
can's
course.
running.
It's fine. I'm gonna blow your head off.
oh my god. Zoe,
Best
you're next.
doctor ever.
Right.
Yeah,
What do
you
I
swore
sort of
no.
don't.
So you've kind of got,
Yeah.
just to give you a
Bit of
rough idea,
guidance, please.
you kind of can do 2 things, right? So you could do something like move and shoot, or shoot and move, or move, shoot, and move a little bit more, but not quite as much. You can dive behind cover. So you can basically do one little thing and
Yeah.
one bigger thing. yeah?
Right.
So you can shout something like have at you or whatever and fire off a shot. You could aim like Max did as a minor action. That gives you a bonus to your hit roll. It gives you a +1 to hit because you take sort of time to aim that shot and let it go. You could change position so that you're behind more cover so that there's less chance of them hitting you back. You could throw yourself on the floor to be a prone target so you're harder to hit.
I think I'll do what Max did, what Baz did.
Yep, so
Take
basically,
a
you know,
shot.
you
Yeah.
sort of balance it, get ready and you take the shot. So
Yeah.
you get a +1. So you're going to roll under your combativity on your character sheet, so it should be right at the top of the
Yeah.
traits. You should have energy weapons somewhere under there.
Yeah.
So if there's anything written in energy weapons, is there a number in there at all?
No.
Just
No, so it's just the combativity stats
Oh,
then.
that's only one.
Right.
Alright.
So you get
That's right,
+1.
well.
So you get +1 for aiming. So you've got to
I've
add
got-
2. So
I've
you've
got
got 2
the
to add to a 2d12, and you're beating 17.
Oh, easy.
Ooh, 12, 14.
14, not quite. So it's close, but no cigar. So you kind of the energy thing hits the crate where the other Kurgan is, but there's sort of bits of metal sort of ablate off this thing. You see the heat residue of the energy bolt as it hits the and that quickly fades away. But the Kurgan's still there, sort of firing away.
Zoe, can I just ask, do you choose your praxises when you?
No, we haven't actually, Jack. We
Okay,
need
right.
to
Just
do
because
that.
there's some combat ones, which would mean that you were using your
I suddenly
psionic
realised we
skill.
didn't do it when we did your psionics before, so we need to do that
Right.
before next
Yes,
session.
I have written down 2 praxis.
Yeah, absolutely. So Zoe, Ross.
I'm going to slide into some cover, a little bit harder to kill, and then blast a shot.
Absolutely.
And go and
Okay.
take a
So
top
no
shot.
aim shot, you just let him go. Yep.
Yeah. So harder to hit next time. Shit.
That good, huh?
5 plus 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, you're sort of more, getting yourself into position, but just to give yourself a bit of cover,
Yeah.
you just
Not bad.
fire off a couple of shots just to
Exactly,
keep
it's just
everybody's
to-
heads down
exactly,
and
that's
a bit
it.
of covering
Cut them off a
fire,
little bit.
basically. And then we are to Sarah.
Just shooting.
Just so you know,
Oh,
the
for
other
fuck's sake!
What did we get?
Out it comes again.
So
That was another one.
Wow.
Statistically,
One
So I'm
as
taking
well.
we
I
didn't
will
get
say-
17.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
no, you've got 2 more because of it's an energy weapon.
Right, but it's still not.
So
good enough.
14.
So 14,
Yeah.
not a bad shot. It wouldn't be a bad shot, apart from the fact that you sort of pick up your pistol and security officer, we won't mention it to anybody else, but let the record show you didn't put the energy cartridge into the bottom of your gun. So you realise it's a great shot, you pick it up, you aim, and then you realise as you pull the trigger, nothing happens. It's like, so you very quickly sort of.
I thought one of the
I mean-
other security officers was going to step in front of her just at the last minute and just.
I don't quite was trying to pull the trigger and accidentally dropping the mag release.
Yeah. Which has happened when we played
Oh,
Airsoft.
it has.
I've had it happen. Yep. So what's going to happen this turn is the other Kurgan now turn up. So there's now 4 in here. They start to spread out and they're sort of forming a line. They definitely don't. You get the impression they don't want you going through this room and further into the ship. That definitely seems to be what they're up to. They're making sure that there's no way for you to dodge around the crates and get around them as best that they can. They're going to fire first. So let's see who we get. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, number 1, Max there, shooting at you.
Uh-oh, well I'm behind a box.
Yep, so you get +2. Right, so incoming fire. Nothing ever, no matter how much you're in combat, nothing quite gets you used to the fact of energy blasts kind of thunking into something very, very close to you. There's that.
Yeah.
They make a very definite sound and a very definite feel when it hits, and you don't want it anywhere near you. But luckily, the cover that you're in, it does, it saves you bacon, so to speak. Let's see who goes to the second. Oh, right at the other end. Jack, you're in the room, aren't you now?
Yes, hiding behind a box.
Right,
But,
so you
yeah.
get +2 as well. Ooh, 19 with a +2, so that'd be 21. It's a very palpable hit. And they do 5 points of damage.
See you later, Jack.
So you get,
Yep.
I'll give you 2, rounded up for your armour. So they basically hit you with 3 points of damage.
Can I ask a
Yeah.
game-related question? So, you just rolled to do the Kurgan hit.
Yep.
But his +2 of hiding behind a box increases the number. So that increases
Makes
the
it
damage.
harder. So I was going to get a 17,
Oh, so
Jack's
the
hidden
+2
behind
means
the
you
box.
have to get a 9.
I have to get a 9,
Right, thank you.
and we got 21. So it was an incredibly
Got it.
lucky roll. But that's the joy of being a GM. So all sorts of warnings go off on your suit, Jack, and there's the most horrible feeling of pain, that weird numbness as the gel inside the suit tries to treat your wound automatically, and your arm just kind of goes numb on you.
Jokes on them. I was always a lefty.
Yeah, well, I was about to ask you left or right-handed. So yeah,
Whichever
Is
the
it
hand
sort
that
of
wasn't losing feeling.
Yeah, is it sort of like that mint shower gel that sort of numbs your body as
Yeah,
well?
absolutely. Yeah, that kind of thing. Let's see who else. So Sarah,
Yes.
you're hiding in cover as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
No problem at all. So again, it's the same sort of thing as Max. There's fire coming over, but you're okay. You're
I
in the
can
box.
work out the angles, you see.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I threw the wrong dice then. Oh my God, they're firing at Jack again. With a 22,
Jesus.
I'm really
I'm
sorry.
fine.
I'm really sorry. They do 7 points of damage.
Ooh.
So you
Is
take
that
another
after
5.
the reduction? Yeah.
No, they take
Okay,
they do
right.
5 with your armor
We're
reduction.
going to lose some good people here today.
And
Jack, what happened? Why did they manage to get these 2 shots at you? What heroic thing were you doing that put you in the field of fire? Or are you just fucking clumsy?
I think I'm communicating with Danson, and I wasn't really paying attention because I have a plan for if I'm still alive at the start of my next turn
Okay.
that could turn the tide.
Oh right. Ooh.
that's a big if.
Yeah,
That is a
big if.
How
The
many
Kurgan have
points?
gone.
How does that, in terms of life, where are you up to then?
I'm not good. I'm probably not sticking in the room after this turn.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Max, I think it's your turn.
Back up to me, is it?
You've sort of got this melted crate in front of you that's selecting as a bit of cover. It won't take them too much to start blowing holes in this crate though, so it isn't much good. And there's this smell of burnt food right now from the MREs that have been hit by the energy weapons.
And a smell of burnt Jack as well.
Yeah. Freshly roasted Navarre.
Is there better cover I can get to? Is there like a corner?
Yeah, you
or
can
like
get
a
to the
doorway I
corners,
could
yeah,
get
there's
into?
like more hole plating and stuff that you can maybe be able to squeeze into a corner, that kind of stuff.
Okay, I'm going to move up towards them a little bit and get sort of into like a doorway of one of the doors or something so I can get
Right,
behind a bit of
okay,
wall.
so you can, yep, you can do that as a minor action. I'll let you do that if you want to. You won't be able to aim, but you can
Yeah, but
certainly
I can
get off a
shoot.
shot.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely. 17 again.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, but you do make it into the cover. You've got a better shot on them next time. I'll give you a little bonus for a good manoeuvre. We are round 2, Jack.
Ace. So I'm communicating with Danson, and I ask if it's possible for him to activate, I imagine, magnetic boots on all of us, since he's controlling the gravity on both ships. If he can reverse it so that the Kurgans on the other side.
Absolutely,
I'll
I
throw in
love
the
it. Yeah,
Nice.
so basically you just give a command over comms
Yeah.
on your comms, and everybody can kind of engage their boots. And yes, absolutely. Ooh, let's see what happens as we go.
That was a good one.
Dunson asks, would you like me to flip the ship?
I mean, what I was thinking was just reverse gravity, because that way we're not screwing with ourselves and we're just using, like I say, if it's magnetic boots, I
Wow.
would just be
So that's
then
fall damage,
slowly
isn't it? So
walking
how
out.
high is this thing? So what is every 10 feet? It's a
Yeah, and it's
D6-ish?
45,000 feet, you said.
Yeah, it's infinite.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
taller than us, aren't
Right. Somebody, anybody, roll me a d6. If you get 6, we'll say that in the roof of this building is another one of these weird little diamond field things. So somebody roll me a d6.
I'm
You get
not
6?
rolling today.
I'll do it.
Go on.
It was my idea.
Okay.
Man.
Yay! Right. So.
Nice.
The last thing they hear is a medical doctor saying, "Fuck off, nerds."
So, 3 of the Kurgan is this. So you feel nothing. You feel absolutely nothing apart from all the boxes that you're behind just go up into the air in front of you and land with massive thunk on the ceiling above you. The Kurgan fly up with a sort of yelp. 3 of them, there's the most awful, sickening, dull thunk as 3 of them hit with sort of cracking of bones, the splitting of suits, the armour opens up, and very unpleasant squelchy noises as these 3 sort of hit with, after a 30-foot sudden change in gravity, are slammed for 3d6 damage into the ceiling. And one poor Kurgan sails and gets stuck in this field, and there's a sort of scream of terror. This thing is slowly pulled through this field until eventually and it just disappears.
I'm really
Into
glad
silence.
the Navarian Hippocratic Oath doesn't have that first do no harm thing.
Yeah.
And I just slowly magnetically walk out of the room to
Yeah,
take care
so
of
there's now
myself.
this sort of clunk as you're all having to around the thing. You get past them. You can get through the room if you want to and move further into the ship.
I'm going to be taking care of myself, to be honest.
Okay, so
Yeah,
you're gonna,
I was going to say, I was
fair
walking away
news.
to
So bless
try
him, I
and-
think your medical officer is out for the count
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
moment and going to go and get himself some aid, which is perfectly reasonable.
We still.
Yeah, it's still red on the mountain.
That sounds worrying.
No, as in the red record.
Okay, it's not like the laser targeting.
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
okay.
no, it's been slowly
Get the
zooming
GM.
in
Yeah,
on your face
It's
this
taken a
whole
long
time.
time to
It
get
can,
that.
it can see your paws at this point.
I have a little bit
My
of
paws.
medicine. I can maybe
Um,
put a quick patch on as you're
Captain?
walking past.
Yeah.
The room is yours. You can
Excuse me?
move further in.
Yeah.
There are life signs, so there was these 2 life signs moving towards another life sign further into the ship.
So the 4 Kurgan have all been dispatched.
Yes,
By
absolutely
Jax.
they have by this
Brilliant
fantastic
idea.
manoeuvre.
That's lovely. That.
Best doctor. Like I say, it's healing in reverse.
I'm really pleased that he didn't die.
Same.
You're a credit to the crew. Yeah, I say we carry on into the ship.
Okay, yep. You kind of, running ahead. You're fairly confident. You've got the life signs and thing. You know that there's nobody else lying in wait for you, unless they've got some kind of really weirdly advanced tech that you don't know about. You can sort of find yourself running through different parts of the ship. We see images of control panels, all sorts of weird and wonderful things that don't quite look like Navarian technology, different coloured things. You go past some of these great big glass panels open to the stars, allowing this wonderful sunlight into the area, and it glitters off all the panels. If only you had time, how extraordinarily beautiful these places are. They're almost like cathedral spaces within the ship where maybe the Kurgan come to bask in sunlight and things to recharge their energy or whatever it might be. We get fleeting glimpses of all these things as you pass through myriad corridors, more of these areas where there are these bits of weird space or whatever it is that are in corridors, a couple of dead ends on your way, but you basically make yourself to a room at the back of the ship which looks entirely different to the rest of the ship. As you approach this thing, where everything else has been angles and hexagons and all these kind of geometric shapes, not that circles aren't geometric shapes, but you come to an area of the ship that's more cylindrical in nature. It's gone with the squares and the corners and all this kind of thing. And it's kind of like a huge, this thing must be 100 feet high. It's probably the biggest bit of the ship you've walked into so far.
Yeah.
And it goes on and on into the back of the ship, and it seems to be a series of concentric circles getting to the back of the ship. You go over different lips to get through this thing. And your best guess, erudition, science officer? Or any skill that you think is more likely to give you an idea of where we are.
No, I think you're probably right with erudition.
Okay, go for it. Let's see how much. It's not that you don't know, it's how much you know.
Yeah. 12, 14, 18.
18. Most likely, this is the most likely thing you've seen that's some form of drive mechanism or engineering or something like that
Right,
at the
okay,
back
so
of the
it's
ship.
probably
You've got energy readings and things are definitely surging at this point in the ship down here. Something's going on here that isn't going on in the rest of the ship. And it looks so different from everything else. This is some other form of technology. So chances are somewhere down here we're getting towards the drive system of this ship and what's going on. But what it is, it's not warp, that's for sure.
Okay.
This is something else entirely. But it seems to be as if you're in some kind of accelerator. Or, you know, this series of concentric circles.
Yeah.
There's some form of acceleration or something.
Do we know what the Kurgans would normally use as?
Warp.
Right, I guess
The only known
and they would
faster light
normally
technology is warp technology.
But you know that Kurgans would use that?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah,
this is
they know in the
unusual.
war that's how they move and
Right,
stuff
okay, so
like
this
that.
is unusual for what
This is unheard of. You've no idea what you're looking at. But you're making a few assumptions.
I'm going to start taking notes and readings then. This is
Okay, yeah,
invaluable.
and then you can film some of it with your
Yeah.
webcam and all that kind of stuff. So you can certainly get some of that stuff. Yeah, what do you want to do, Captain? This thing, there's like so there's all these circles, and then there's a corridor leading down, which I suppose would technically be above you at this point, but you know, Danson can flip gravity back around if you wish. That's a point, actually. You flip gravity everywhere.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yep.
Oh, I don't understand
Nothing
what
could
just happened.
possibly go wrong.
Well, it would have affected every other being on the ship, not just the four that you were in the room
Right,
with you. When
yeah.
you
So
flipped
that's
gravity,
good.
you flipped
And
gravity
those-
over the entire ship. So every being in the ship that wasn't fastened to the floor.
But we're still showing 3 life forms.
You are showing 3 life forms.
Right.
Apparently, 2 of them though aren't moving quite as much as they were.
Can I, now that we've got a bit of a lull, attempt to help him patch himself up?
Yeah. So you're sort of hanging back.
Yeah, I'm
Yep,
making sure he
that's
doesn't bleed
absolutely.
out.
Yep, that's totally fine.
Or she
Yep.
So,
doesn't.
I was gonna say, should I roll with advantage then if she's helping? Because as
Yeah.
the medical officer, I just
And,
And I do
oh,
have
you-
medical
I was going to
skill.
give you advantage anyway because you're basically going back to your own
yeah.
medical bay on board ship. I was assuming.
After that, I'm probably going to go through and
Yeah.
try.
So
and
basically,
help.
3d12. Just to explain, 3d12. Pick the best 2.
Yeah.
Add your medicine roll to it.
Sarah, can I borrow
Yeah,
a
sure.
D12?
So Sarah, if you want to help, you'd actually roll first. If you
Okay.
succeed,
Alright.
I'll give you a bonus on top as well.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
So Jack, she's trying to plunge scalpels into you at every opportunity.
I rolled 2 2s. Doesn't that
Two
mean?
twos.
Does that mean anything if it's a double
No,
number?
that means failure. That's what that means.
Oh,
That
double
spells
two,
right
yeah,
there
that's-
the word failure.
That's
So-
almost a
So
sentence.
is it this vial morphine or is it this
Arsenic.
arsenic? Which one? Which one? I can't remember.
Right, take them, pop the lids off, down them both, because that's how Navarian biology works. But
now.
do I still get advantage?
get
or do I just
advantage,
cancel
yeah.
it out by
In
drinking a
spite
bottle
of Sarah's best efforts.
So can I borrow one?
Yeah, sure. Good luck, because you know they're crap.
12, 7, 11.
He rolls an 11 when he's rolling it. My dice is like.
Yeah.
It's
It's
enough
true.
time. No, it's
Turn
enough
against
time
you.
being
True.
a game master that I still
Yeah,
have.
it rubs off. See, it's been GMing a bit, so it rubs off.
Yeah. So yeah, that is 23 plus
Easily.
plus 6, so 29.
So you're not sort of instantly better, but definitely you've done everything you need to
Yeah.
do that you can be back in the fray.
You get the
You know,
win.
it hurts, Jack, but the arm will move, and
Yeah.
you can move and stuff. But
Oh, the 12, nice.
yeah.
Sorry, I just forgot. Oh yes, I should be excited every time I see that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know you'll have a fine story to tell
Yeah.
at the end of this.
And a
It's
badass
little
I
anecdote
make
about
the
how you got
scars
injury.
look pretty.
It was my efforts that did it. I mean, I brought this man back to life, this girl
As
back to
you're
life. I'm
getting
just saying.
closer, you're moving through the thing. You can now hear somebody calling out, and it's not. It's Terran. Danson tells you this is a Terran voice.
Oh, Terran. Sorry, I thought you said it's Terry.
Yeah, it's Terry. Long lost, good old Terry. And you wondered where he got to all those months ago, and here he is.
My
on
good
board.
friend.
Yeah. You pass the damaged and broken bodies,
Yeah, that's
still
true,
living,
actually.
of 2 Kurgan.
It could be Terry the
Oh, it could be
Terran.
Terry, yeah,
I've
but
got
no,
Terry.
but actually it isn't. So that's for a whole nother character that hasn't appeared yet in this game. And you can hear somebody calling out beyond this area. You seem to be entering another chamber
Sure.
at the back of this thing.
Well, I thought that's why we came in to
Yeah.
investigate.
That's where you want to go.
This,
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go to that chamber.
You basically walk into an area that's it's a flat disc in front of you. It's probably about 30-35 feet high. You are at the base of it, looking up at it, and it's a series of sarcophagi that you can see, and in them are Terrans have been placed into these things, men, women, around in this circle. There's probably, in the whole diameter of the thing, there's probably 20 of these sarcophagi sort of pushed in next to one another.
What's the
I basically like what an Egyptian, coffin.
So are they
basically,
dead?
Yeah. Well, so it
least
doesn't
one
take
of them's
much. One, well, you know from the life signs, the only one of them,
Oh right,
is
yeah,
alive.
yeah.
and she's slightly on an angle on the sarcophagus, and you can see, and it's we would know she's a Japanese-looking lady, sort of dark hair, almond skin, dark eyes, and she's clearly in a lot of distress. You haven't got your medical officer with you, but it doesn't take a great deal
Is
from
she
all
in
of you.
stasis like this?
No, not at all. It's not that kind of sarcophagus.
Oh, right,
It's kind of
it's
open
just,
where they are, the encasement to. But you can see that something's happened and she's welded somehow in an organic fashion to the side of it. Something as really weird has happened. And you can see, you look at more of the bodies and they're all sort of almost been sort of molten, moved into the side of the sarcophagi and things, and like there's an arm sticking out of one side, but it's literally just melded through the side of the sarcophagus and things.
I'm activating.
Quite grim.
I'm watching through the cameras as I'm treating myself, and I just go, Captain, just to clarify, no, Terrans aren't meant to look like that.
Thanks, to me. That's really helpful.
They're not in their chrysalis stage.
I cannot hold it back much longer. I don't know why she's Dutch. But anyway, let's not drift into weird and wonderful accents too much. I can't hold it back. I cannot stop it. You must leave now. It's too late.
I think I'd ask her what were you talking about?
I don't know, but it's coming. I feel like what's the word? The little boy in the dam with my finger in the dam.
Is this now in your head still?
Yeah.
No, she's talking to
Right.
you. You can hear
She's
all
talking,
this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pressure's
But she wasn't
building
drunk.
too much.
Damn it! Ah!
What does it do? That's how it's coming.
The Kurgan, they made us into a machine. They made us into an engine. That's what they want the humans for. It's what they're using us for. Stop them. I can't hold it for much longer. Please.
What
go.
are you holding? You're stopping.
Yeah.
It's coming through. It's coming through. There's something coming through from the other side.
Ask her how to stop it, Captain.
Guys, I think she's trying to signal that you should get out of there. She's dropping some hints and saying it explicitly.
We tried. We travelled so far instantly, but it didn't work properly. It hasn't worked. You must leave. You must leave now.
What do you think, crew?
Well, I'm bugging out.
Yeah, and I
The
think
gong, by the way, is getting a lot faster.
What is?
The gong noise that was
Oh,
going
no.
on.
Mark, did I work out where the power for the engines are coming from?
Oh yes.
Yeah?
You're looking at it right now.
I reckon so I figured that much out.
Mhm.
I think Skipper. I think we blow the ship up and we exit and blow the ship up. So there's no evidence of us ever being here.
Looks like it's going to do that on its own.
Well, let's encourage
Or is it,
along.
yeah.
Let's encourage it along.
On our way out, I'm going to be dropping breaching charges like breadcrumbs.
Well, on
So
the
you
skipper's
lot are
order.
basically sprinting for the exit.
We're not going to
Well,
service.
Leisurely walking because we're close to it.
I don't know how you got. So in the time that you got, the only way you could feasibly think to do it is maybe to cut the sarcophagus away, which you reckon from what she's saying you haven't got time for. There's
Right.
no way
Can
to
I also just
trying to get
posit
her out.
if we did save her and get her out of there, she wouldn't be holding anything back?
No, I get that. Yeah.
So we
yeah.
would then have even less time.
Hear what you're saying.
I think we.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
let's,
Skipper. We need to.
Let's
Yeah.
get
Blow
out
by.
there.
This is why I
Moment.
told you to document everything. It comes over the air.
I'm also going to suggest that at this point we turn off body cams and delete all the footage from the drive.
And, Operation Blow and Run. That's
Yeah.
what it's called at this point.
Apparently, there's a contest for the name of this episode.
Oh god, you killed the TM. Oh my god. Oh my god. If that's not the episode title right now.
Blow and run.
You are blessed, Ross. You are blessed.
Truly, my friend.
I've never played a game
If
with
we went
Ross
out, I'd
before.
walk across and give you a handshake, sir. Absolutely.
Wait, that's not a hand.
I try so hard to create drama. Yes. So you're all sprinting. It's very highly dramatic. You're all
We're blowing
racing through. Yeah, apparently you're blowing
yeah.
and running.
Let's get it on the dot, baby.
So you get, you sort of try and put Charlie down. You get the opposite. As you all just make it back to the airlock of Danson, there's a kind of cut scene where we cut back to poor Ashika, this poor woman.
Oh, you were never even bothered to ask her.
Yeah, well, we didn't know. But
Oh, that's true, yeah, no.
it's here. And there's a sort of, she has a little smile on her face, and then you sort of see the stars that you've seen in this field and everything. Her eyes and mouth and everything become replaced by this thing as it starts to just basically make its way through her. And it gets brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and brighter and bigger and bigger and bigger, and it envelops the whole back of the engine of this thing. And one thing after another gets caught, and as it does, there's a kind of explosion. As a physical explosion, you're all thrown through the port into Danson. Danson is hurled away physically. It shreds the ship apart. And Danson is hurled and tries desperately to get the shields up as quickly as it can. And there's a whiteout. Not only is this explosion go off and there's a huge white, so just everybody's blinded by this explosion as you're all pushed back into the ship. But something that you don't see is there's a psychic wash that emanates from this explosion and just absolutely pulses out in an enormous tidal wave of psychic power that pushes itself across the whole of the known galaxy. This thing, it's moving, but it's travelling light speeds. But it's going to, it's slowly washing its way across the whole universe. And we cut to whiteout. As you come around, Captain, you find yourself back in the garden, playing with your sister. And there's sort of laughter, there's other kids playing, you're in this sort of nice little area back on your home planet and everything. And as she comes down the slide towards you, and she sort of says, I told you they're not going to see any of it. I said I wouldn't let them. And she sort of giggles and she runs off to go and eat some, there's a, whatever the equivalent, Navarian equivalent of an ice cream van or something is off in the distance.
Yeah, a lettuce.
And she goes off. Yeah, lettuce bar. I was like, well, no, we've established that Kurgan. But,
Well, everyone loves lettuce bars.
yeah.
The sound of the ice cream van is purplish blue sleeves.
Which is how I see them.
When you come out of your reverie, you find yourself back in the courtroom, and there's quite a lot of sort of people, consternation as people sort of moving over to equipment. It's like, Captain, are you all right? And they're kind of like coming over to you. There's a medical officer makes the way over, and they're kind of checking you out with equipment. So it's like, so something happened with the psychic fugue. I don't know. We lost all the signal. I've no idea what happened. It's most irregular. I don't know what's going on.
Have we tried turning her off and turning her on again?
Go on.
So, nothing I can say. Basically, you come to in the courtroom, and basically there's uproar. Nobody's really, from the moment that you step onto this Kurgan ship, clearly showing that you go over the barrier against your security officer's best wishes. Nothing seems to have been seen by the rest of the court as what's going on. And the Kurgan stand up and they we demand to hear what's going on, and this is completely flagrant in violation of all the treaties that we have in place. This is an act of war. And they'll give me all that. And the admiral's sitting with the order. I'll have order in my court, damn you! Everybody sit down. Everybody eventually sort of quietens down. You look across the courtroom, and the only person that you actually see in the court from your crew is your medical officer, who made it back over. You were there as
I
well,
was
weren't
there,
you?
I
So
was there.
unbelievably, the only two people in the courtroom of your crew that are here today are the security officer.
And I'm
and
not
medical.
behind the dock.
Well, they're not here. There's the consternation slowly calms down. The admiral sort of takes off the glasses and looks and says, "Well, it's all highly irregular." And he sort of looks, she looks around the room and looks at the Kurgan and everything and talks to her aides for a minute. And they sort of look. In view of the lack of evidence to support what's gone on, and we can only use what we've seen in this courtroom, I hereby have to say that you, Captain, are guilty of treason and of crossing boundaries, going against all your orders to enter illegally Kurgan space in an attempt to disrupt the operations of Kurgan Starship. This is obviously a very serious crime.
I just dose with a sedative.
Order of the court.
I will have order in the court by this
I
measure.
was actually going to stand up for a bit because, frankly,
right.
she did actually
Thank
do
you.
the right
That's
thing
well.
for the right reasons,
Appreciate
ultimately.
it.
We will come back to that, actually, but at the moment, Captain, please rise. And you stand up in the thing. And it's incumbent upon me to strip you of your rank. You are no longer Captain, Ms. Nima.
Oh.
Furthermore,
It's
you will no
Dr.
longer...
Nima?
Princess, isn't it?
Yeah.
Princess Nima,
Princess
well,
Nima.
Countess.
Lady
something like
Nima.
that. Something like that. Furthermore,
Lady Nima does sound like a hygiene product, though.
I was thinking it sounded like a pop star,
You
but
tried
yeah.
Lady Nima.
Yeah.
Help with femininity.
But
You
also, imagine interrupting the judge as they're about to sentence you and you're like, "Fuck you, call me by my title."
If it wasn't bad enough, right?
Yeah.
You will be stripped of your ship, and any contact with Danson will be prohibited. Danson will be placed under close guard and removed from this place, as will
I thought you were
you.
going to say house arrest for us.
But, yeah,
Big house.
Yeah, big house.
Warehouse arrest.
Consider yourself dismissed. Court is closed.
Alright.
Well, there you go.
This is the end.
Well, that sucks.
You find yourself without captaincy, without ship, without crew.
There it starts
Well,
the story,
or
really.
two of them.
I suppose.
Story proper. You're done.
I will just
Yeah,
check.
it's gone.
We are getting painfully close to time, I think. I think let's use that as our closing thing for today. I think we've got through episode 0.
Yeah.
That starts us off. I will leave you one last thing. In a very close encounters kind of way, for those who may have seen the film, you're left with one image in your head, which is searing cold, an ice planet somewhere. This is just you, Kiki. And an overpowering need, and a giggling little girl. Every time you look at this thing, you hear your sister's voice again. So it's going, it's there, it's right there. If you just go and get it, it's right there, you'll find out. And with that, you're sort of left with this, where Danson was, when you try and talk to Danson, that thing that's been with you all your life, that's what you now find is there, waiting for you when you close your eyes and things like that. You just get this feeling of this location, a place, and this laughter from a young girl. And Danson's not there. Your voice from your childhood, your ever-present confidant, is no longer with you. And there, ladies and gentlemen, we will end it for this session. Thank you very much for your patience, and thank you all for watching. I hope it's been entertaining. I think we've all had fun.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
much.
We even rolled some dice.
Yay!
Played Farsight for a minute. Just for a minute or two there, we got some gaming. We did very well. Thank you. I'll add something onto the back of this just to say thank you very much properly. But yes, thank you all for playing. Thank you all for your time. And we'll see you again for episode 2. Thank you and goodbye. Bye, everybody. Thank you.